heart of the untamed wilderness, legendary frontiersman Daniel Boone faced a monstrous adversary unlike any other. Amidst the rugged terrain of Kentucky, Boone's harrowing encounter with a colossal giant would test his courage and resilience to its limits. Join us as we delve into the captivating historical tale of survival, set against the backdrop of a mysterious and awe-inspiring confrontation between man and beast. Daniel Boone and his son were iconic figures in American history, known for their pioneering spirit, adventurous exploits, and remarkable resilience in the face of adversity. Daniel Boone, born in 1734 in Pennsylvania, was a legendary frontiersman who played a vital role in the exploration and settlement of Kentucky, blazing trails through the untamed wilderness with courage and determination. Boone's early years were marked by a deep love for the great outdoors and a wandering spirit that led him to seek adventure in the uncharted territories of the American West. His skills as a hunter, trapper, and woodsman were unparalleled, earning him a reputation as one of the finest woodsmen of his time. In the late 18th century, Daniel Boone emerged as a pivotal figure in the westward expansion of America. His endeavors played a significant role in the unfolding narrative of American history, as he spearheaded the exploration and settlement of new frontiers. Boone's efforts were instrumental in forging pathways for future pioneers, mirroring the adventurous spirit portrayed in tales of that time period. To get a sense of the time period, it was a few short decades after the tumultuous era depicted in the movie The Last of the Mohicans. Notably, he played a key role in the creation of the Wilderness Road through the Cumberland Gap, a vital passage facilitating the migration of settlers into the uncharted territories of Kentucky and beyond. Boone's son, whose name is often lost to history, shared his father's passion for adventure and the wilderness. Together, they embarked on countless expeditions into the unknown, facing the dangers of the frontier with unwavering courage and fortitude. Their achievements were many, from hunting and trapping in the dense forests to defending their homesteads against hostile Native American tribes. Daniel Boone and his son carved out a legacy of bravery and resilience in the face of daunting challenges. Their names became synonymous with the spirit of exploration and the indomitable will to conquer the wildlands of America. As they roamed the untamed wilderness, Daniel Boone and his son encountered countless dangers and triumphs, forging a bond that transcended mere blood ties. Theirs was a partnership forged in the crucible of adversity, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit in the face of the unknown. Excuse this brief interruption. If you enjoy our videos, please take just 10 seconds to like and subscribe to our channel. Your support is crucial, and it helps us grow and improve. If you're unsure what to comment, a simple "I subscribed" would help us drastically, and I will be sure to personally thank you. We look forward to bringing you many more captivating stories in the future. Enjoy the rest of the show. And so, as they set out on yet another journey into the heart of the Kentucky wilderness, little did they know that their paths would soon cross with a creature of legend, a towering colossus that would test their courage, resilience, and ingenuity like never before. The stage was set for a showdown between man and beast, a clash of titans that would echo through the ages as a tale of survival, bravery, and the enduring bond between a father and his son. One fateful spring morning, the sun rose gently over the rolling hills of Kentucky, casting a golden hue over the awakening wilderness. Daniel Boone, a rugged frontiersman with a weathered face and piercing eyes, emerged from his humble log cabin to tend to his daily chores. The air was crisp and invigorating, carrying the sweet scents of blooming wildflowers and the promise of a new day. As Boone made his way to the paddock to check on his two prized horses, he was met with a scene of devastation. The corral stood empty, the gate swinging lazily in the breeze, and Boone's heart sank as he realized that his beloved animals had been stolen. A sense of anger and determination welled up within him as he surveyed the tracks left by the thieves, unmistakably those of Native American warriors. Without hesitation, Boone called upon his son, a brave and stalwart companion who shared his father's love for the untamed frontier. Together, they swiftly armed themselves with rifles, tomahawks, and a steely resolve to track down the perpetrators and reclaim what was rightfully theirs. The bond between father and son was unbreakable, forged in the crucible of the wilderness, and they knew that only by standing together could they hope to overcome the challenges that lay ahead. With grim determination etched on their faces, Boone and his son set out on a relentless pursuit, their keen eyes scanning the dense undergrowth for any sign of their stolen horses. The forest echoed with the sounds of rustling leaves, chirping birds, and the distant howls of wildlife, creating a vibrant tapestry of life and danger. As they followed the trail of the thieves deeper into the heart of the untamed wilderness, Boone's senses sharpened, his every instinct honed to a razor's edge. The terrain grew rougher, the woods denser, and the presence of unseen threats loomed ever closer. Yet, undeterred by the perils that surrounded them, father and son pressed onward, their spirits unbroken and their determination unshakable. In that fleeting moment of loss and defiance, Daniel Boone and his son embraced the wild unpredictability of the frontier, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead in their quest to retrieve their stolen horses and restore order to the vast and unforgiving landscape they called home. Tracking the thieves led Boone and his son to the headwaters of Kingston Creek, where they stumbled upon signs of the Indians' presence. Undeterred, they continued their chase, following the trail down the creek to where it emptied into the Licking River. With unwavering resolve, they crossed the river and pressed on, their eyes set on recovering their stolen property. As they ventured further into the rugged terrain, Boone and his son found themselves on the bank of the Ohio River, near present-day Cincinnati. Their pursuit had led them perilously close to a large group of Indians, forcing them to abandon their quest and retreat to safer grounds. It was late afternoon when they landed near the mouth of the Licking River, weary but determined to push on. Boone decided to make camp near a spring at the foot of a hill, hoping to replenish their supplies and rest for the night. As evening descended and a light rain drizzled down, they settled in for the night, unaware of the danger lurking in the shadows. The following morning dawned misty and foggy, shrouding the landscape in an eerie cloak of mystery. Boone and his son set out to explore the surroundings, each taking a different path along the hillside. As they ventured further, the fog began to lift, revealing a chilling sight that would haunt Boone for the rest of his days. In the distance, Boone's keen eyes caught sight of a colossal figure, unlike anything he had ever seen before. A giant of a man, over 10 feet tall, with a pale complexion and long blonde hair, strode purposefully through the wilderness. As Boone watched in stunned silence, he saw the giant confront his son, who stood bravely behind a tree, preparing to defend himself. With a swift and powerful grasp, the giant seized Boone's son, disarming him and overpowering him with ease. Helpless to intervene, Boone witnessed the giant lift his son high above his head, slamming him to the ground with brutal force. Fear and desperation gripped Boone's heart as he struggled to find a way to save his son from certain doom. With trembling hands and a heavy heart, Boone took aim at the giant, his fingers poised on the trigger. But the dense foliage and the giant's swift movements made it a perilous shot. Fearing for his son's life, Boone hesitated, unwilling to risk hitting his own flesh and blood. As the giant prepared to deliver a final fatal blow, Boone knew he had no choice but to act. With a steady hand and a resolute spirit, he fired his weapon, the bullet finding its mark with deadly accuracy. The giant stumbled and fell, crushing Boone's son beneath his massive frame. Rushing to his son's side, Boone frantically worked to revive him, his hands trembling with fear and uncertainty. Time seemed to stretch endlessly as Boone prayed for his son's survival, willing him to breathe once more. And miraculously, against all odds, his son stirred, his eyes flickering open as life returned to his battered body. Relief flooded Boone's heart as he saw his son sitting up, battered but alive. Together they examined the fallen giant, marveling at his immense size and peculiar features. The giant's body was covered in short hair, his eyes large, his nose thick, and his hands and feet disproportionately big. Boone and his son measured the giant's immense frame, confirming his staggering height of over 10.5 feet. The enormity of the encounter left an indelible mark on Boone's mind, a tale of survival and resilience against a creature of colossal proportions. In the aftermath of his harrowing encounter with the mysterious giant, Daniel Boone found solace in recounting the incredible tale to a group of fellow frontiersmen gathered around a crackling campfire. The flickering flames cast dancing shadows on their weather-beaten faces, their eyes wide with wonder and disbelief as Boone's deep voice wove a spellbinding narrative of courage and survival. Seated on a rough-hewn log, Boone spoke with a mixture of solemnity and awe, his rugged features illuminated by the firelight. His words carried the weight of truth, each syllable resonating with the raw emotion of the terrifying ordeal he had endured. As he described the giant's towering figure and ferocious demeanor, a hushed silence fell over his rapt audience, hanging on his every word with bated breath. The men gathered around Boone listened intently, their faces reflecting a range of emotions, from fear to disbelief to admiration for the legendary frontiersman's resilience in the face of such a formidable adversary. Some shook their heads in quiet disbelief, unable to fathom the sheer magnitude of the creature Boone had encountered, while others nodded in silent acknowledgement of the dangers that lurked in the wild lands beyond their settlements. As Boone reached the climax of his tale, describing the heart-stopping moment when he took aim at the giant to save his son, a collective gasp escaped the lips of his enraptured audience. The tension in the air was palpable, the crackling fire lending an almost surreal quality to Boone's chilling account of survival against impossible odds. And though the truth of that fateful encounter would forever remain shrouded in mystery, Boone's recounting of the events that transpired that day near the mouth of the Licking River would become the stuff of legend. His bravery and unwavering resolve in the face of unimaginable danger would echo through the annals of history, inspiring generations of pioneers and adventurers to dare to explore the unknown and conquer their deepest fears. As the night wore on and the embers of the campfire dwindled to a warm glow, Boone's compatriots sat in reverent silence, their minds filled with visions of giant men and epic struggles against the forces of nature. And as they parted ways to seek their rest for the night, a newfound respect for the intrepid frontiersman Daniel Boone took root in their hearts, forever bound by the shared experience of hearing a tale that would be retold for generations to come. Welcome, intrepid seekers of the unknown, as we embark on a journey through the annals of history, venturing into the realms of the enigmatic and the inexplicable. Today, we invite you to join us on a gripping exploration of a forgotten chapter in the life of a legendary figure. In the vast and treacherous wilderness of 1830s Texas, where danger and opportunity danced in harmony, stood a man whose name echoed through the ages. Davy Crockett. Known for his daring adventures and unyielding spirit, Crockett's larger-than-life persona has captivated our imaginations for generations. But behind the tales of his heroism lies a lesser-known narrative, a haunting encounter that defies conventional explanation. As we journey through this riveting account, we will confront the limits of our understanding as the line between reality and myth becomes blurred. We will question the very nature of existence and contemplate the possibility of a world beyond our comprehension. Join us, fearless explorers, as we unearth the truth that lies beneath the layers of time and embrace the thrill of the unknown. Together, let us venture into the heart of Davy Crockett's encounter, a tantalizing enigma that beckons us to uncover its secrets. Davy Crockett, a well-known figure in American history, became a household name in the 1950s when actor Fess Parker portrayed him in a Walt Disney TV miniseries. But there's one encounter in Crockett's life that is seldom discussed. A strange and chilling encounter with a large, ape-like creature. Born into a poor French Huguenot family in 1786, Davy's upbringing was humble, but it instilled within him a fierce independence and a hunger for adventure. Growing up in the rugged backwoods of Tennessee, Davy had little opportunity for formal education. He was a wild child, often skipping school to wander the wilderness, learning the ways of the land from his surroundings. However, he did receive 100 days' worth of tutoring from a neighbor who recognized his potential. As a young man, Davy worked odd jobs as an extra farmhand and cattle driver. But it wasn't until he returned home to help his father pay off their debts that his destiny began to take shape. Davy's charisma and populist policies won him the loyalty of many smaller landowners and agricultural workers, leading to his rapid rise in local politics. In 1827, Davy Crockett's political ambitions took him to the national stage as he won a seat in the House of Representatives. His down-to-earth persona and folksy charm made him a beloved figure among the American people. However, he soon found himself at odds with President Andrew Jackson and his supporters, whose grudge against Davy ran deep. Despite his successes in politics, Davy yearned for something more. He was captivated by the idea of Texas applying for statehood and saw an opportunity to lead a revolution in the territory. In 1836, after losing his bid for re-election, Davy fulfilled his promise and journeyed to Texas to fight for its independence. In 1836, Crockett wrote a letter to his brother-in-law, Abner Bergen, describing his encounter with a hairy monster in Nacogdoches, Texas. At that time, the terms Bigfoot and Sasquatch were not yet popular, but many believed that what Crockett saw was similar to these legendary creatures. Apologies for the interruption. If you have a moment, your support means the world to us. Liking, subscribing, commenting, or sharing our content greatly assists us on our YouTube journey. These actions contribute to the modest earnings we receive. If you enjoy our stories, please show your support by engaging with our channel. Thank you for your support. And now, back to the show. Even to this day, Eastern Texas and the town of Nacogdoches have had their fair share of Bigfoot sightings, but Crockett's account stands out as one of the earliest and most credible reports. In his letter, he recounts the events that unfolded during his fateful encounter. Crockett and his companions were making their way through thick wilderness, clearing a path as they went. As the others continued their work, Crockett took a break to rest and enjoy his lunch. Little did he know that this peaceful pause would turn into a truly eerie experience. As Crockett sat, enjoying the sounds of birds chirping, he noticed a disturbance caused by his axe tapping against a tree. Whether it was the sound or the intense heat of the sun, an apparition slowly materialized in front of his eyes. An 8-foot-tall creature, resembling a large ape man. Suddenly, Crockett found himself face to face with the creature straight out of a nightmare. Its hair was a tangled mess, standing on end as if charged with electricity. Piercing amber eyes held a gaze that seemed to penetrate Crockett's very soul, filled with ancient wisdom and an unsettling intensity. The creature's mouth was filled with rows of broken and jagged teeth, jutting out at odd angles. Its visage was twisted and deformed, evoking a primal fear in Crockett's heart. As terror gripped his senses, Crockett involuntarily spat out the bread he had been eating, his stomach churning with unease. To his astonishment, the grotesque beast spoke, its voice rumbling with an otherworldly resonance. The words reverberated through the air, carrying with them an urgency and a sense of impending doom. "Leave this land, Davy Crockett, the creature's voice echoed, each syllable chilling Crockett's marrow. "Flee Texas and abandon this lost cause. There is danger lurking here, a darkness that will consume all who stand against it." Crockett's breath hitched in his chest as he grappled with the messages conveyed by this nightmarish being. Was it a warning born out of genuine concern, or was there a more sinister agenda at play? The creature's words seemed to penetrate deep into his being, stirring a mixture of apprehension and curiosity within him. Although part of him yearned to heed the creature's unearthly warning and escape the looming threat, Crockett's resilience and determination to fight for what he believed in wavered. He couldn't simply abandon his convictions and the cause he held so dear. And so, conflicted and haunted by the encounter, he mulled over the creature's cryptic words, unsure of the true meaning behind them. Little did Crockett know that this encounter in the Texas wilderness would forever linger in his thoughts, an enigma that would never be unraveled. As he continued his fateful journey, his path intertwined with destiny, and the events that followed would solidify his place in history. But the memory of that supernatural encounter with the beast, its ominous words etched in his mind, would forever leave a mark on his spirit, a haunting reminder of the inexplicable and the uncharted depths of the human experience. Perplexed by this encounter, Crockett questioned the creature's warning. But before he could receive any answers, the beast vanished into thin air, like morning steam dissipating in a mist. Shaken by the experience, Crockett swore off eating beef and pork for a few days. Arriving at the Alamo mission in San Antonio, Davy joined forces with other volunteers who shared his determination to free Texas from Mexican rule. They found themselves under siege by a formidable Mexican army led by General Santa Anna. Despite their heroic efforts, the defenders of the Alamo were outnumbered and ultimately overwhelmed. It was in this fateful battle that Davy Crockett lost his life, becoming a martyr for the cause of Texan independence. Davy Crockett's death at the Alamo cemented his place in American history as a symbol of bravery and determination. His larger-than-life image, complete with his trademark coonskin cap, captured the hearts and imaginations of generations to come. His story, filled with adventure, struggle, and ultimate sacrifice, has become an enduring part of the American mythos. The eerie encounter Crockett described in his letter was largely forgotten, overshadowed by his heroic death at the Alamo. Historians speculated whether the account was an attempt by Crockett to entertain his brother-in-law or something more extraordinary. Some pointed out that Crockett's insistence on changing the wording of the Oath of Allegiance to include the term Republican revealed his honor and commitment to fighting against a non-elected dictator. They argued that this integrity gave credence to his account of the creature. Still, others proposed that the encounter was a figment of Crockett's imagination, a lucid dream or hallucination induced by the heat and exhaustion. The truth remains elusive and may never be known. But what is striking is how few people are aware of this incident. With so many of Crockett's feats and experiences celebrated and embellished over the years, it's peculiar that this particular tale has fallen through the cracks. Perhaps it is to preserve the image of a flawless hero, untarnished by a strange and unsettling encounter. Whatever the case may be, the encounter with the ape-like creature in the deep woods of East Texas remains an enigmatic and captivating story. It raises questions about what Davy Crockett truly experienced and reminds us that even the most revered figures in history may have had encounters with the unexplainable. Even as time has marched forward, eastern Texas and the idyllic town of Nacogdoches continue to be shrouded in whispers of mysterious encounters. Stories of Bigfoot sightings echo through the ages, captivating both the locals and intrepid explorers from afar. Crockett's harrowing tale serves as a bridge between the lore of the past and the countless sightings that have followed. It reveals a world where curious beings, reminiscent of Bigfoot or Sasquatch legends, roam the untamed expanses, hidden in the depths of the dense woodlands. However, it is important to note that during Crockett's time, terms like Bigfoot or Sasquatch were not yet part of the vernacular. Instead, His account speaks to a creature that can only be described as an ape man, a sight as extraordinary as it was menacing. The echoes of Crockett's experience find resonance in the collective consciousness of the region. From the depths of these wildernesses, tales emerge of figures that defy explanation, sightings that send shivers down the spines of those brave enough to venture into the unknown. Legends merge with reality as documented accounts pepper the local folklore, each whisper adding another layer of intrigue and curiosity to the region's Bigfoot chronicles. Among these sightings, a few stand out vividly in the memories of those who have encountered the mysterious beings of the East Texas woodlands. From the shadowy swamps to the dense pine forests, accounts have been fashioned over the years. The infamous Lake Worth monster sent shockwaves through the community in the late 1960s with its alleged rock-throwing antics. The Honey Island swamp monster became a fixture of local lore, its terrifying presence haunting the minds of all who dared to tread the eerie Louisiana-Texas border. And let us not forget the chilling tale of the Folk Monster, a creature supposedly lurking amidst the bayous of nearby Arkansas, its terrifying visage etched in the memories of those who have glimpsed it. These documented encounters, along with countless untold stories whispered under moonlit skies, weave a tapestry of wonder and mystery, beckoning us to explore the realms beyond our understanding. As we follow in Crockett's footsteps, tracing his encounter with the unexplained, we are reminded that in the vast expanse of the East Texas region, the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary is forever blurred. Today, the legend of Davy Crockett lives on, reminding us of the indomitable spirit that has shaped the American frontier. His legacy serves as a testament to the power of perseverance and the belief in a cause greater than oneself. Davy Crockett may be gone, but his spirit roams the untamed wilderness of the American imagination, forever embodying the essence of the true American hero. Join us as we journey through history and nature's wonders, exploring the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln and the enigmatic encounter that shaped his remarkable journey. In the heart of the rugged wilderness of southern Illinois, Abraham Lincoln, a towering figure of American history, found himself drawn into a journey that would shape his legacy forever. Lincoln's insatiable curiosity led him on a fateful hunting expedition that would forever alter the course of his remarkable journey. It was on this expedition that Lincoln and his companions stumbled upon a creature both primal and mysterious, its presence haunting and mesmerizing. Towering above them, it seemed to embody the untamed wilderness itself, its enigmatic gaze piercing the depths of their souls. Amidst the weight of his responsibilities, Lincoln found himself captivated by the mysteries of this encounter. Though he would go on to become one of the most influential figures in American history, he never forgot the profound impact that this wilderness encounter had on his spirit and his journey. Join us as we unravel the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln and the enigmatic encounter that forever shaped his remarkable journey through history and nature's wonders. Abraham Lincoln, a man known for his towering stature and indomitable spirit, was born in a humble log cabin in Hardin County, Kentucky, on February 12, 1809. From a young age, his life was marked by hardship and the pursuit of knowledge. After his family relocated to southern Indiana, Lincoln's thirst for learning led him to self-education, poring over borrowed books by the flickering light of the fireplace. As Lincoln grew older, he honed his skills as a storyteller and orator, captivating those around him with his tales of adventure and his wit. Though his circumstances were far from ideal, his determination to better himself was unyielding. This unquenchable thirst for knowledge spurred him to study law and eventually pursue a career in politics. In the early years of the 19th century, Lincoln embarked on a hunting and exploration trip with a small group of companions. They ventured deep within the untamed wilderness of southern Illinois, eager to uncover the mysteries that lay hidden within its dense undergrowth. The air crackled with anticipation as they stepped into nature's embrace, their senses heightened and their eyes ever vigilant. As they journeyed through the ancient forest, the wild beauty of their surroundings engulfed them. Towering trees, swaying with an almost ethereal grace, whispered secrets carried by the breeze. Lincoln, his tall frame blending effortlessly with the rugged terrain, assumed the lead. His trusted rifle, now a prized companion, was slung over his shoulder, signifying his prowess as a hunter. The group navigated through the untamed wilderness, their footfalls muted by the carpet of leaves beneath their feet. Their minds teemed with wonder as they marveled at the vibrant shades of gold and russet that adorned the trees, a testament to the passage of time and the changing seasons. In this idyllic setting, Lincoln's tales took on a mystical quality. His deep voice resonated amidst the silence of the forest, capturing the imagination of his companions. Each story wove its own spell, merging truth and fiction into a tapestry of wonder and enchantment. But as the day wore on, the laughter and merriment faded, replaced by an eerie silence that settled upon the group. A stirring in the underbrush caught their attention, and their hearts quickened. Lincoln's keen observational skills had captured something amiss in the wilderness. Suddenly, a strange sound pierced the air, its origin shrouded in mystery. The group's senses sharpened, every nerve on edge, and then, as if conjured by their collective imagination, the creature revealed itself. Towering above them, the menacing creature stood upright, its colossal form cloaked in fur and muscle. It gazed upon them with eyes that seemed to hold within their depths a spark of unfathomable wisdom. Stunned and captivated, Lincoln's companions were rendered motionless by fear, their breath escaping in hushed gasps. The creature's presence seemed both ethereal and tangible, defying explanation. It emitted haunting howls and guttural growls, its voice carrying a primal melody that sent shivers down their spines. Lincoln, his heart pounding in his chest, watched the creature move with an otherworldly grace, disappearing into the depths of the forest as if it were a part of its very soul. Left awestruck and shaken, Lincoln and his companions exchanged wide-eyed glances, their minds racing to comprehend the extraordinary encounter they had just experienced. Was this the elusive creature, whispered about in legends and tales passed down through generations of Native American folklore? Their questions remained unanswered, swirling in the depths of their minds. The encounter with the mysterious creature left an indelible mark on Lincoln's spirit. In the years that followed, as he rose through the ranks of politics and eventually became the President of the United States, his thoughts often wandered back to that extraordinary moment in the wilderness. Strategizing within the walls of the White House, Lincoln would occasionally reminisce about the untamed beauty of the wilderness and the encounter that had forever changed his perspective on the natural world. The memory remained vivid, a testament to the allure of the unknown and a reminder that even the most rational minds could be shaken by the wonders of the unexplored. Excuse this brief interruption. If you enjoy our videos, please take just 10 seconds to like and subscribe to our channel. Your support is crucial, and it helps us grow and improve. If you're unsure what to comment, a simple "I subscribed" would help us drastically, and I will be sure to personally thank you. We look forward to bringing you many more captivating stories in the future. Enjoy the rest of the show. As Abraham Lincoln sat by the fireplace in the White House, a visitor began to share a remarkable story. It was a tale of two young brothers who had ventured into the wilderness in the same location in search of white-tailed deer. The brothers had found themselves deep in the river bottoms, where old hayfields painted a rural landscape. The visitor described how they had hitched their horses on the side of a muddy field, unable to traverse the steep, winding mud path. Undeterred, they continued their journey on foot. One brother chose a spot to settle down for their hunting expedition, while the other went a little further, walking up the edge of an embankment. With vivid detail, The visitor narrated how they positioned themselves at the very end of the open field, near a horseshoe-shaped clearing. This particular corner of the wilderness was known for a game trail that crossed the horseshoe and eventually led to the river. As the visitor continued, they recounted the events that unfolded on that eventful day. The brother who was positioned near the game trail noticed movement across the horseshoe-shaped slough. At first glance, it appeared to be a skunk, and he prepared to take a shot. But as he watched more closely, he realized it was something far more extraordinary. The creature, as the visitor described it, was crawling up the steep bank, taking its time with each step. It seemed to be preoccupied, looking back and forth across the field before reaching up to grab leaves from a nearby sweet gum tree. The visitor conveyed how they could almost see the creature's eyes, nose, chin, and shoulders as it feasted on the leaves. But then, something happened that shook them to their primal core. The creature started walking towards the open field, heading straight for the brother who was lying in wait along the game trail. At that harrowing moment, they could feel the fear and adrenaline coursing through their veins, and a creeping dread slowly cloaked the scene. The first brother bursting out of the brush, running for his life and screaming for his brother's help. The creature, sensing the terror, dropped down on all fours and growled menacingly before disappearing into the thicket. As the visitor finished their tale, Lincoln was left spellbound. He marveled at the connection between their story and his own mysterious encounter years before. It was as if the creature had chosen that remote corner of the wilderness to reveal itself to those who dared to venture deep into nature's realm. As Lincoln absorbed the story, he couldn't help but think about his own legacy. In his presidency, he had faced unprecedented challenges, guiding the nation through a bloody civil war and fighting for the abolition of slavery. The weight of his achievements and the responsibility of his leadership often consumed him. Yet as he sat there, listening to the tale of the creature in the wilderness, he found solace. It reminded him that he was not just a politician or a leader, but also a man who had once walked through nature's embrace, encountering mysteries and wonders beyond comprehension. It reminded him that he was connected to something greater than himself. For Lincoln, the encounter with the enigmatic creature highlighted the vastness of the world and the endless possibilities that lay beyond the grasp of human understanding. It spoke to his own insatiable curiosity, his relentless pursuit of knowledge, and his unwavering dedication to the betterment of America. As he leaned back in his chair, his gaze shifted to the room adorned with books and documents, symbols of his intellectual pursuits and tireless efforts to shape a nation. His thoughts wandered through the hallways of history, recalling the Emancipation Proclamation, the Gettysburg Address, and the countless lives that had been saved and changed, even to this day, as a result of his leadership. In that moment, Lincoln realized that his encounters with the creature in the wilderness and his achievements as president were intrinsically linked. They both spoke to his deep sense of purpose, his compassion for his fellow human beings, and his unwavering belief in the fundamental rights and equality of all. As he sat there, his mind reaffirmed his commitment to making America a better place, ensuring that his nation would be a beacon of freedom, equality, and justice for generations to come. The encounter with the enigmatic creature reminded him that the mysteries of the world were not just to be pondered, but to be embraced, explored, and understood. With renewed determination, Lincoln rose from his chair, ready to face the challenges that lay ahead. He understood that his presidency was not just about political calculations, but it was also about embracing the mysteries of life and ensuring that every American had the opportunity to pursue their own path, just as he had pursued his. As he left the room, his mind filled with the echoes of the wilderness and the enigmatic creature, he knew that his encounters with the unknown had shaped him as a man and as a leader. And in that knowledge, he found strength, hope, and a profound sense of purpose to continue his journey as the leader of the United States of America. Later in life, Lincoln sat again comfortably in his favorite armchair, surrounded by his closest friends. They were gathered in his humble abode in Springfield, Illinois, seeking solace and entertainment amidst the trials and tribulations of the Civil War. Lincoln loved recounting stories and sharing anecdotes, letting his wit and charisma shine even in challenging times. "My dear friends," Lincoln began, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm, "I have another tale for you tonight, a most peculiar encounter that befell two brave hunters in the wild forests of southern Illinois." The room hushed as Lincoln took a sip of his tea before continuing his captivating narrative. It was over a century ago, in the winter of 1764, when the brothers ventured into the remote wilderness. They were ardently hunting coyotes under the moonlit sky. In their pursuit, they found themselves surrounded by an eerie silence, as if the very woods held their breath. Lincoln paused for a moment, relishing the anticipation in the room, before sharing the moment that changed everything. Suddenly, an owl, or so they thought, began its unusual calls. Its hoots were too deep, too unsettling. Yet, as if in reply, another owl responded some distance away. The calls became more frantic, unnerving even the seasoned hunters. They knew it was not an owl making those calls. As his friends leaned in, captivated by the tale, Lincoln's voice took on a haunting tone. Then, my dear friends, the forest unleashed a sound that shook their souls. The screams of a creature not known to man echoed through the night. These brave hunters, frozen in terror, heard the thunderous footfalls of a two-legged creature rush past their hiding spot. The room erupted with gasps and murmurs, all on the edge of their seats, as Lincoln painted a vivid picture of the unknown creature. At daybreak, the brothers sought to reclaim their belongings, but they were met with a growl so menacing that it stopped them in their tracks. They feared a bear had made its lair nearby, but as they scanned the area, their eyes met something far more extraordinary. Lincoln's eyes twinkled as he relished in the suspense he created. Behold, my friends, they saw a towering figure, standing upright amidst the thicket. With wide shoulders and covered in shaggy dark hair, it appeared akin to a man, but far more immense and primal. Its eyes, deep in its skull, possessed an unwavering darkness. Gesturing with his hands, Lincoln continued. The creature blinked, conveying both its sentience and the terror that befell these hunters. And then, my friends, it vanished into the wilderness, leaving an indelible mark on their memory. As the room erupted with questions and exclamations, Lincoln chuckled, enjoying the lively company. And so, dear friends, I leave you with this tale from the wilds of southern Illinois, a reminder that even in our modern world, mysteries and wonders still exist, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to venture forth. The night continued, filled with laughter and camaraderie, as Lincoln's story became a cherished memory shared amongst friends, woven into the tapestry of their lives during one of the nation's darkest hours. As the night draws to a close, let us reflect on the remarkable journey of Abraham Lincoln, a beacon of patriotism and perseverance in the annals of American history. Through tales of the wild and encounters with the unknown, Lincoln's unwavering dedication to his nation shines bright, illuminating the path for generations to come. From humble beginnings to the hallowed halls of the White House, his life is a testament to the power of hope, resilience, and the unyielding spirit of freedom. As we bid farewell to this evening's storytelling, let us carry forth Lincoln's legacy with pride and purpose, inspired by his enduring commitment to a more perfect union. Prepare to journey into the heart of darkness as we unravel the haunting mysteries of Portlock, Alaska. From inexplicable murders to eerie disappearances, this ghost town's dark history continues to intrigue and unsettle all who dare to delve into its past. Join us as we uncover the spine-tingling tales that have shrouded Portlock in fear for decades. Portlock, alternatively referred to as Port Chatham, is located on the southern tip of Alaska's Kenai Peninsula. Originally established in 1921 as a cannery town, Portlock thrived with its bustling industries, including lumber, chromium, and gold mining. The town's rapid growth led to the establishment of a post office, solidifying its status as a functional and dynamic community. The origins of its name remain debated, with one theory attributing it to a British ship with Captain Nathaniel Portlock, who sailed there in 1786, well before Alaska gained official statehood in 1959. The town's population primarily consisted of Russian Alutiiks and descendants of the natives of the Aleutian Islands. Today, surrounding villages like Seldovia, Nanwalek, and Port Graham claim the area is haunted or cursed, with eerie stories circulating about Portlock's ghostly presence and the mysterious incidents that have plagued the town's history. Reports of an unidentified, immensely strong being terrorizing the townsfolk circulated even before Portlock's official establishment, with indigenous populations warning against the creatures that lurk in the wilderness. Tales of a creature known as the Nantinuk spread among the new inhabitants, describing a half-man, half-beast figure embodying supernatural strength and speed. Local folklore surrounding the Nantinuk in Portlock, Alaska, is steeped in the traditional beliefs and myths of the indigenous Nanwalek tribe and Sukpak people. According to Nanwalek tribal lore, the Nantinuk is described as a formidable being, part human, part beast, possessing immense strength and supernatural abilities. According to Sukhoan lore, the term Nantinuk is derived from the Chugach dialect, spoken by the indigenous inhabitants of the Kenai Peninsula. In their language, Nantinuk roughly translates to those who steal people, evoking a sense of fear and trepidation among the Sukpak people. The origins of the Nantinuk myth are deeply intertwined with the cultural fabric of the Sukpak tribe. Passed down through generations, the tales of the Nantinuk serve as cautionary fables, warning against the dangers of venturing too far into the wilderness. Its appearance strikes fear into the hearts of those who dare to cross its path, with stories of its hostile encounters echoing through the annals of Sukhoan tradition. This folklore serves as a vital part of the cultural identity of the local tribes, shaping their worldview and understanding of the unseen forces that govern their surroundings. In 1867, the United States secured Alaska from Russia in a monumental land deal of a mere $7.2 million. This acquisition paved the way for Portlock to transition into a United States territory, as the region embraced a new chapter in its storied past. Amidst the backdrop of pristine wilderness and rugged terrain, Portlock thrived. Despite the absence of roads or trails, its economy flourished with bustling industries such as lumber, chromium, and gold mining. Yet it was the salmon canning industry that cast its shadow over the town as the largest employer, breathing life into its bustling streets. Records from the early 20th century documented Portlock's unexplained incidents, including a temporary evacuation of salmon canning workers due to menacing sightings in the nearby forest. As the years passed, reports of mysterious deaths and disappearances attributed to a powerful entity stalking the area increased, further fueling the town's dark reputation. In 1905, cannery worker Albert Petka was fatally attacked by a large, hairy creature, sparking fear among the locals and reinforcing the belief in the Nantinuk's existence. The town's woes continued into the 1920s, with gruesome slaughters and eerie phenomena troubling the residents, leading to a growing sense of dread and unease. Andrew Kamuk, a logger in Portlock, met a violent end when he was found dead under mysterious circumstances, adding to the town's list of unexplained tragedies. Another resident, Albert Petka, met a tragic end after a confrontation with a mysterious creature in the woods. His account of the encounter before his passing fueled further speculation and fear among the townspeople. The situation escalated when hunters tracking a moose discovered a gruesome scene of blood and fur, but no trace of the moose itself. Tracks resembling human footprints, but larger in size, added to the town's growing sense of dread. Reports of people going missing, strange footprints, and mutilated bodies found in the mountains only deepened the town's atmosphere of fear and mystery. Stories of individuals encountering a bipedal creature in the wilderness persisted through the decades, with some hunters describing unnerving experiences with an unknown presence. The legends of the Nantinnuk and an eerie ghostly woman in black that would disappear into the mountains added layers to the town's haunting history. A series of grisly incidents, including the mysterious disappearances of hunters and fishermen who ventured into the unforgiving wilderness surrounding the town. Locals and visitors alike have reported unsettling accounts of individuals vanishing without a trace, their fates remaining unknown to this day. The rugged terrain and remote location of Portlock contributed to the dangers faced by those who dared to explore the untamed wilderness, with some never returning from their expeditions. In addition to the alarming disappearances, reports of mutilated bodies found drifting in the rivers and streams near Portlock added to the town's aura of dread and foreboding. The discoveries sparked fear and speculation among the residents, who were left to grapple with the sinister implications of these disturbing findings. The mutilation of the bodies suggested a violent and savage force at play, instilling a sense of unease and vulnerability in the community. The correlation between the disappearances of hunters and fishermen and the presence of mutilated bodies raised troubling questions about the dangers lurking in the shadows of Portlock. Rumors circulated about a malevolent entity or creature preying on unsuspecting individuals, leaving behind a trail of terror and tragedy in its wake. The townsfolk lived in constant fear of the unknown assailant, unsure of when or where it would strike next, heightening the sense of danger and uncertainty that permeated the town. The escalating incidents of disappearances, coupled with the pervasive fear and unease that gripped the town of Portlock, ultimately led to its abandonment. As the number of missing persons cases continued to rise, residents became increasingly wary of the lurking danger that seemed to permeate the wilderness surrounding the town. The community's once vibrant streets grew hauntingly quiet as more and more individuals vanished without a trace, leaving a trail of unanswered questions and unsolved mysteries in their wake. The exodus from Portlock was driven by a sense of fear and apprehension, with the collective toll of the disappearances serving as a grim reminder of the perilous environment that had claimed numerous lives and forced the town's residents to flee in search of safety and solace. After several failed attempts to re-establish the town, the final census in 1990 signaled the definitive dissolution of Portlock. At that pivotal moment in history, only a handful of resilient individuals clung to the remnants of a once thriving community that had been consumed by fear and tragedy. With each passing year, as more residents vanished or sought refuge elsewhere, the ghostly silence that settled over Portlock grew eerily pronounced. The town's deserted streets bore witness to the haunting echoes of the past, serving as a somber testament to the enigmatic forces that had cast a dark shadow over its existence. Portlock's gradual decline into desolation was marked by a series of pivotal moments, each signaling the dwindling population and dwindling hope of revival. Historical records reflect significant drop-offs in population figures as individuals fled the encroaching terror that plagued the town. By the mid-20th century, Portlock's once lively streets had fallen silent, with only a fraction of its former residents remaining steadfast in the face of mounting adversity. Notably, Alaska, with the most unexplained missing persons cases of all states in the U.S., contributed to the haunting atmosphere that enveloped Portlock during this time. Despite its desolate state, Portlock remains a captivating enigma that fascinates and unnerves those who dare to venture into its forsaken confines. The lingering mysteries of the town continue to beckon the curious and the brave, offering a glimpse into a bygone era defined by inexplicable occurrences and lingering dread. As the shadows of the past loom large over Portlock's abandoned streets and dilapidated buildings, the town stands as a haunting reminder of the perplexing forces that once held sway within its borders, forever entwined with its dark and foreboding history. In more recent times, despite the town of Portlock being abandoned, reports of encounters with the elusive Nantinnuk have persisted, further fueling the enigmatic reputation of the region. Locals and visitors alike have shared chilling accounts of eerie experiences in the Alaskan wilderness surrounding the former town. One such encounter took place in the early 2000s, when a group of hikers camping near Portlock reported strange sightings and unsettling noises during the night. They described feeling an intense sense of being watched and hearing unearthly screams echoing through the trees, sending shivers down their spines. Some members of the group claimed to have seen a shadowy figure moving swiftly among the trees, resembling the legendary Nanticoke. In another incident, a wildlife photographer captured peculiar footprints in the mud near Portlock that defied conventional explanation. The tracks, resembling large humanoid prints, raised speculation about the presence of a cryptid creature roaming the area. Despite efforts to analyze and document the prints, their origin remained a mystery, adding to the aura of intrigue surrounding the mythic creature. Ed, a bow hunter, had a personal encounter in the 1970s while in the remote wilderness near Portlock. Along with his companions, they were stalked by a mysterious figure during the night, causing immense fear and prompting them to be on guard throughout the night with bows at the ready. The entity, described as hairy and potentially shape-shifting, it left no trace when investigated in the morning, and the men made a swift retreat to safety. Moreover, fishermen and hunters traversing the remote wilderness of the Kenai Peninsula have shared their own encounters with the mysterious beings they believe to be the Nanticoke. Tales of fishermen spotting a hulking figure with glowing eyes on the riverbanks, or hunters hearing unearthly howls echoing through the dense forests, have become part of the local lore, perpetuating the mysterious presence of the elusive creature. As modern technology allows for easier documentation and sharing of such encounters, various online forums and social media have become platforms for individuals to recount their eerie experiences with the beings. Photographs, videos, and personal testimonies circulate, sparking debates and discussions among believers and skeptics alike, as the legend of the Nanticoke continues to intrigue and mystify those drawn to the haunting beauty of the Alaskan wilderness. In the digital age, the enduring mystery of the Nanticoke serves as a reminder of the untamed wilderness and the enduring fascination with the unknown. Whether based on folklore, fact, or a blend of both, the stories of encounters with the Sasquatch Nanticoke in the vicinity of Portlock serve as a testament to the enduring allure of the unexplained in a world where the boundaries between reality and myth often blur, leaving a lingering sense of wonder and curiosity for those who dare to explore the hidden realms of the untamed Alaskan wilderness. Greenland, over 1,000 years ago, young Leif Erikson, son of the famed explorer Eric the Red, grew up steeped in the lore of his Viking ancestors. Driven by a desire to uncover the truths hidden within the Norse sagas, Leif embarked on a quest for knowledge and exploration. 500 years before Columbus, his journey led him to the shores of Vinland, a land shrouded in mystery and whispered tales of otherworldly beings. While establishing a trading post in Vinland, Leif and his crew encountered unknown creatures deep in the forest. Towering over them, the giants stood as guardians of the land. Despite initial disbelief, Leif and his men witnessed their majestic presence and the wild beauty of the Vinland's forests. The encounter left an indelible mark on them, reminding them of the mysteries that lurked in the uncharted wilderness of this new and mysterious land. Though forgotten by history, Leif Erikson's encounter with the group of mysterious beings stands as a testament to the spirit of adventure and discovery that was defined in the Viking Age over 10 centuries ago. In the frost-clad lands of the north, where the aurora dances across the night sky and the icy winds whisper ancient secrets, there lived a young boy named Leif Erikson. From the moment he drew his first breath, Leif was steeped in the lore of his ancestors. Tales of gods and monsters, heroes, and villains, woven into the very fabric of his being. Born in 970, Leif Erikson was destined for a life of adventure. Raised by a captured slave named Threaker, Leif grew up learning the ways of the world and the skills of a true Viking. Leif's thirst for knowledge and exploration led him to study the ancient sagas and listen intently to the stories of seafarers. Young Leif Erikson was enraptured by the tales of giants and trolls that echoed through the halls of his home in Greenland. Gathered around the fire on long winter nights, his father regaled him with stories of the mighty Jotnar, the colossal beings who inhabited the frozen realm of Jotunheim. Leif listened with wide-eyed wonder as he heard of Ymir, the ancient progenitor of the Jotnar, born from the primordial chaos of Niflheim and Muspelheim. His father spoke of Thrym, the cunning frost giant who dared to steal Thor's hammer, and of Skrymir, the towering giant who tested the strength of the Thunderer on his journey to Utgard. But it was not only tales of giants that captured Leif's imagination. His mother spoke of the trolls that lurked in the dark corners of the forest, their eyes glowing with malevolent intent. She warned him of the mountain trolls, brutish and strong, who roamed the peaks of the wilderness, and of the forest trolls, elusive and cunning, who delighted in leading travelers astray. She spoke, too, of the bridge trolls, their tolls exacted with sharp teeth and grasping claws, and of the Draugr, the restless spirits of the dead who guarded their tombs with unyielding fury. As Leif grew older, he found himself drawn deeper into the world of Norse mythology, captivated by the stories of Fenrir, the monstrous wolf destined to bring about the end of the world. He felt the chill of fear run down his spine as he heard of Fenrir's escape from his chains and his final devastating role in Ragnarok. And yet, even in the face of such darkness, Leif felt a thrill of excitement, a sense of adventure that called to him from the depths of his soul. With each passing day, Leif's longing to explore the world beyond Greenland grew stronger. He dreamed of embarking on his own epic journey, of encountering giants and trolls, of facing the challenges and perils of the unknown. And though he knew that such adventures were fraught with danger, he could not suppress the fire that burned within him, driving him ever onward toward his destiny. But as Leif grew older, he became aware and began to sense a shift in the world. The creatures of legend, once abundant and fearsome, had begun to fade into obscurity, their numbers dwindling with each passing generation. Where once they had ruled the land in abundance, now they seemingly existed only in the pages of dusty tomes and whispered tales told around flickering hearth fires. Yet despite their disappearance from the physical realm, the legends of these enigmatic creatures lived on in the hearts and minds of the people. From the frost-covered fjords of Norway to the mist-shrouded forests of Germany, stories of giants and monsters permeated the folklore of Northern Europe, their presence felt in every shadow and every gust of wind. Among other tales stood the epic of Beowulf, a saga of courage and valor in the face of unimaginable evil. Leif was captivated by the exploits of the hero Beowulf as he battled the giant Grendel, the monstrous descendant of Cain, and his fearsome mother in the depths of their watery lair. He saw himself reflected in the brave warriors who fought alongside Beowulf, their swords flashing in the darkness as they waged war against the forces of darkness. But as Leif delved deeper into the stories of his ancestors, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to these legends than met the eye. He sensed a connection between the tales of old and the world he inhabited, a thread of truth that bound them together across time and space. And so, as he stood on the cusp of adulthood, Leif Erikson vowed to uncover the mysteries of his heritage, to seek out the truth hidden within the pages of legend and lore. Little did he know that his journey would lead him to the shores of Vinland, where the echoes of the past would rise up to meet him in a clash of destiny and fate. As a young man, Leif's quest for adventure took him far beyond the shores of Greenland. He yearned to explore the distant lands he had heard about in the tales of seafarers. With determination and the seed of curiosity in his heart, Leif set sail for Norway in search of new horizons. Arriving in Norway, Leif found himself amidst a thriving maritime culture, filled with tales of far-off lands and uncharted territories. He was welcomed by King Olaf, who recognized the potential in this young Viking explorer. Under the king's patronage, Leif discovered a passion for learning, studying the ancient sagas and absorbing the wisdom of the scholars at court. During his time in Norway, Leif Erikson also encountered the spread of Christianity, a new faith challenging the Old Norse traditions. The teachings of this foreign religion intrigued him, and he became open to embracing the Christian faith. King Olaf, appreciating his potential, saw an opportunity to send him back to Greenland with a priest, hoping to spread the Christian message among the Norse settlers. Leif returned to Greenland, a changed man, carrying with him the knowledge of the wider world, the ancient Norse sagas, and the newfound teachings of Christianity. Eager to share this knowledge with his people, Leif became a mediator between the Old Norse traditions and the emerging influence of Christianity. But Leif's insatiable desire for exploration still burned within him. He yearned to set sail and discover new lands beyond Greenland's shores. He longed to make his mark on the world and follow in the footsteps of his legendary father. Leif heard of a land discovered by a merchant named Bjarni Herjolfsson. Intrigued by the tales of this mysterious land, Leif purchased Bjarni's ships and embarked on his own expedition, accompanied by a crew of 35 men. In the twilight of the Viking Age, a dragon-headed longship cut through the waves like a beast hungry for conquest. On its prow stood Eriksson, son of Eric the Red, his eyes fixed on the horizon as he led his crew into the unknown. Their destination, Vinland, a land shrouded in mystery and whispered tales of otherworldly beings lurking in its depths. Leif had heard the rumors, the stories of giants and monsters that roamed the dense forests and jagged cliffs of this distant land. But like any true Viking warrior, he scoffed at the notion of fear, his heart ablaze with the spirit of adventure. After voyaging through treacherous waters, Leif stumbled upon a vast slab of rock and named it Helluland, which is believed to be modern-day Baffin Island. Undeterred by this initial disappointment, he continued sailing. Their voyage took them westward, across vast expanses of open sea, until they reached the rugged coastline of what is believed to be modern-day Newfoundland, Canada. Refusing to give up on his quest for new lands, Leif set sail southeast and encountered a magnificent mainland. During their time in Vinland, Leif and his crew not only survived, but also explored the surrounding area. They encountered indigenous people, known to the Vikings as the Skrælings, and managed to establish peaceful trading relations with them. This interaction demonstrated Leif's diplomatic skills and willingness to engage with different cultures. Leif also discovered valuable timber in the Vinland forests, which he recognized as a lucrative resource for trade back in Greenland. He and his crew harvested large quantities of timber, loading their ships to transport back home. This successful trade venture helped to strengthen the Greenlandic economy and solidify Leif's reputation as a skilled explorer and trader. Additionally, Leif continued to explore further southward along the coast, which is where their encounter with unknown creatures took place. While establishing a new trading post, they were felling timber in the woods. As the men ventured back to camp at dusk, they soon realized that they were not alone. The forest seemed to pulse with an ancient energy, a primal force that stirred the very earth beneath their feet. Strange sounds echoed through the trees, whispers carried on the wind, and shadows danced in the flickering light of their torches. It was as if the land itself was alive, watching, waiting. Leif and his companions pressed on, their senses alert for any sign of danger. But no amount of bravery could prepare them for what lay ahead. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they stumbled upon a clearing bathed in moonlight, a place of eerie calm amidst the chaos of the wilderness. It was there, amidst the towering trees and swaying grasses, that they first caught sight of them, the creatures of legend, the guardians of Vinland. Standing tall and proud, their forms obscured by the shadows, they watched the newcomers with eyes that gleamed like embers in the night. At first, Leif and his men could scarcely believe what they saw. Were these the giants of Norse folklore, the Jotnar of old? Or were they something else entirely, a breed of creature unknown to Viking sagas? Regardless of their origins, one thing was certain. These beings were no mere figments of imagination. They were real, tangible, and they held dominion over the land they called home. As the Vikings watched in awe, the creatures approached, their movements graceful yet powerful. They spoke no words, but their presence spoke volumes, conveying a sense of ancient wisdom and untold secrets. Before him stood a towering male Sasquatch, flanked by two younger males, their presence imposing yet strangely serene. Nestled close to the female Sasquatch was a baby Sasquatch peeking out with wide, curious eyes. As Leif and his men observed the family of hairy giants in silence, they marveled at their majestic presence and the wild beauty of the Vinland forest. The giants moved with a grace that seemed otherworldly, their immense forms disappearing into the dense foliage with ease. Though no words were exchanged, the encounter left an indelible mark on Leif and his companions, reminding them of the mysteries that lurked in the uncharted wilderness. With a sense of wonder and respect, they bid farewell to the family of beasts, their hearts filled with the thrill of discovery. Leif Erikson and his crew took stock of their surroundings, ensuring that they left behind no trace of their presence. They dismantled their temporary shelters and extinguished any remaining fires, leaving the land as undisturbed as they had found it. Leif, ever the explorer, spent his final days in Vinland, observing the natural wonders of the land. He studied the flora and fauna, noting their similarities and differences from those of Greenland and Iceland. With a sense of awe, he marveled at the vast forests and sprawling landscapes, understanding that they held secrets waiting to be discovered. In addition to his observations, Leif Erikson also took the time to interact with the indigenous people of Vinland. He traded goods with them, exchanging tools and trinkets for knowledge about the land and its inhabitants. Through these interactions, Leif gained insights into their way of life and the challenges they faced in this untamed wilderness. As the time for departure drew near, Leif Erikson made a solemn vow to return one day to Vinland. He recognized the potential for exploration and settlement in this new land, and he was determined to see it through. With a mixture of excitement and anticipation, Leif and his crew bid farewell to Vinland, setting sail for Greenland once more, their minds filled with visions of future adventures and discoveries. As they sailed away from Vinland, the land of giants and monsters, Leif Erikson and his companions knew that they had witnessed something truly extraordinary. They had glimpsed the mysteries of the unknown, the wonders that lay beyond the edge of the world. And though their journey had come to an end, their adventures were far from over. For as long as there were uncharted lands to explore and secrets to uncover, the spirit of the Viking warriors would live on, blazing a trail through history and legend alike. Over 5 centuries would pass before another explorer would set foot on the shores of the Americas, and that man would go down in history as Christopher Columbus. Leif Erikson's feat, though remarkable, had been forgotten by the annals of time, but the echoes of his discovery reverberated through the generations, inspiring future explorers to set sail for new horizons. As Leif Erikson's story faded into obscurity, the world shifted and changed. The age of exploration dawned, and European powers set their sights on distant lands across the seas. Christopher Columbus, an Italian explorer sailing under the Spanish flag, was driven by a burning desire to find a quicker trade route to Asia. Unbeknownst to him, the lands in the West had already been touched by the presence of the Norsemen centuries before. Columbus embarked on his journey with 3 ships, the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and the Niña. He navigated the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean, fueled by a mixture of ambition, determination, and a hint of wanderlust. After weeks at sea, his crew spotted land on October 12, 1492. The sighting marked the dawn of a new era, as Columbus became the first European explorer in over 500 years to lay claim to the Americas. News of Columbus's discovery spread rapidly, and Europe was captivated by the tales of the untamed lands he had encountered. The age of exploration was in full swing, and expeditions were launched to establish colonies, claim territories, and exploit the abundant resources of the New World. The Americas became a melting pot of cultures, a collision of old and new, as European powers vied for dominance over these vast and uncharted territories. But as the European colonizers settled in the Americas, erected cities, and imposed their ways of life upon the indigenous peoples, the spirit of exploration that had fueled Leif Erikson and his Viking predecessors began to fade. The focus shifted from discovery to conquest, from seeking new lands to subjugating those already inhabited. The spark of curiosity that had ignited the age of exploration was overshadowed by the lust for wealth and power. It is a tragedy that Leif Erikson's role in the discovery of the Americas was overshadowed by the exploits of Christopher Columbus. Both men were driven by a thirst for adventure, a desire to chart new territories and unravel the secrets of the unknown. Leif's discovery, however, was a culmination of centuries of Norse exploration and seafaring prowess, whereas Columbus stumbled upon the Americas in search of a different destination. Perhaps it is time to rewrite the history books to honor the forgotten explorer who journeyed across the Atlantic long before Columbus set sail. Leif Erikson navigated treacherous seas, braved unknown dangers, and left an indelible mark on the world. His legacy deserves recognition, not as a mere footnote in history, but as a symbol of perseverance and the indomitable spirit of human exploration. So let us remember Leif Erikson, the forgotten explorer, who set sail for Vinland and brought tales of a new world back to Greenland. Let us celebrate his courage, his thirst for knowledge, and his unwavering determination to uncover the mysteries of the unknown. Leif Erikson, the true pioneer of the Americas, may have been forgotten by the annals of time, but his spirit lives on in the hearts of those who dare to dream and venture into the uncharted territories of life. Back in 1976, Brian, a dedicated police officer in the small town of Whitehall, was on duty one night, working radar on William Street. His brother Paul and their friend Marty rushed towards him, claiming they had seen a monster on Abar Road. Initially skeptical, Brian was intrigued by their urgency and decided to take their claims seriously. He called his father, a sergeant with the O-Hall PD, for guidance. His father advised him to contact the state police and the sheriff's department and arrange a meetup at the reported sighting location. The next night, Brian teamed up with Trooper Fox, a New York State trooper, to investigate. As they parked in the field, surrounded by silence unusual for a warm August night, they heard strange noises in the distance, the sound of trees snapping and branches rustling. Brian and Trooper Fox communicated over the CB radio, positioning themselves at opposite ends of a hedgerow. Suddenly, Trooper Fox panicked, announcing his departure and swiftly driving back to Whitehall. Alone in the field, Brian's curiosity turned to fear. as he heard a peculiar whooshing sound approaching his car. With his handgun drawn and a powerful spotlight in hand, he cautiously scanned the field, detecting movement in the tall grass. What he saw next would shake him to his core. In the glow of his spotlight, Brian laid eyes on a creature he could not comprehend. Standing no more than 35 feet away was a being unlike anything he had ever seen. The creature had large, round eyes, distinct hands, not paws, and a human-like yet animalistic appearance with long, dark hair and a muscular physique. As the creature emitted a deep, guttural sound, Brian felt a telepathic message urging him to leave the area. Despite the overwhelming fear and astonishment, Brian did not feel threatened by the creature. The encounter lasted only a few minutes, but in that time, Brian's perception of reality was forever altered. Returning to Whitehall, Brian found Trooper Fox at a diner, visibly shaken and unable to articulate what he had witnessed. The encounter left both men in a state of disbelief and fear, grappling with the existence of a being that defied all logic and explanation. In the aftermath, Brian faced skepticism, ridicule, and attempts to exploit his story for entertainment purposes. Despite the doubts and uncertainties, he remained steadfast in his belief that he had encountered something beyond the realm of known creatures. Over time, Brian's encounter on a bar road became a cryptic legend in Whitehall, blurring the lines between reality and the unexplainable. Though he may never fully understand the true nature of the creature, Brian's story endures as a testament to the mysteries that lie beyond our perception. To add more detail, we can delve into the aftermath of Brian's encounter. The days and weeks following the sighting were filled with intense scrutiny and speculation. Local newspapers ran sensationalized headlines, drawing attention to the alleged Bigfoot sighting in Whitehall. Brian found himself thrust into the spotlight, bombarded with questions from reporters and curiosity seekers alike. Despite his best efforts to maintain a sense of normalcy, his life was irrevocably changed by the encounter. In the months that followed, Brian became somewhat of a local celebrity, with residents eager to hear his first-hand account of the encounter. He was invited to speak at community events and appeared on several local television programs to share his story. However, with the newfound attention came skepticism and disbelief from those who doubted the veracity of his claims. Despite the doubters, Brian remained steadfast in his belief that what he saw that fateful night was real. He sought solace in the support of his family and close friends, who stood by him unwaveringly throughout the ordeal. However, the constant scrutiny and skepticism took its toll on Brian, leading him to retreat from the public eye and focus on rebuilding his life. Years passed, and the fervor surrounding Brian's encounter gradually faded. The legend of the Whitehall Bigfoot lived on, passed down through generations as a cautionary tale of the mysteries that lurk in the shadows of the forest. Though skeptics continued to dismiss his story as a mere fabrication, Brian remained resolute in his conviction that the truth was out there, waiting to be discovered. The incident of the Man Mountain of the Okefenokee Swamp is a legendary tale that has intrigued many over the years. It involves two men and a boy who ventured into the swamp during an exceptionally dry year, a period lasting 3 to 4 years. The water levels in the swamp had significantly dropped, making it an opportune time to explore the elusive interior that had previously been inaccessible. As the group delved deeper into the swamp, they stumbled upon massive 18 by 9-inch footprint tracks, indicating a creature of immense size. The tracks adhered to the 150% rule, where the width of the track is typically 50% of its total length. Additionally, the stride of the tracks exceeded 6 feet, a significant measurement even for Bigfoot standards. What set these tracks apart was the presence of 4 toes, deviating from the typical Bigfoot characteristics. Overwhelmed by fear, the group hastily retreated and relayed their discovery to a larger party of armed men. Determined to confront whatever lurked in the swamp, 9 stout individuals armed to the teeth with muskets, pistols, and sabers embarked on a mission to to track down the mysterious creature. After weeks of relentless pursuit, the group eventually located the creature's trail and established a camp in its vicinity. Unfortunately, a careless act by one of the men sparked a violent confrontation, leading to a brutal encounter with the beast. In a ferocious attack, the creature emerged from the shadows and engaged the men in a deadly battle. Tragically, 5 of the 9 men lost their lives, their heads ripped from their bodies in a gruesome display of the creature's strength and aggression. Despite the heavy casualties, the men managed to bring down the colossal beast with 7 musket shots, finally ending the harrowing ordeal. Upon closer inspection, the creature measured an astounding 13 feet in height, with 4 toes and a formidable, aggressive demeanor. This harrowing incident differed significantly from typical Bigfoot encounters, leading many to speculate about the true nature of the mysterious creature lurking in the depths of the Okefenokee Swamp. As tales of the Man Mountain circulated, it raised questions about the existence of creatures beyond our comprehension, shrouded in mystery and myth. The incident serves as a chilling reminder of the untamed wilderness and the elusive beings that inhabit its remote corners. Darren and the group of kids set out on their usual weekend hike through the dense woods of the New Jersey Pine Barrens. Guided by their familiarity with the area, they followed a well-established trail that led them deeper into the forest. As they trekked through the wilderness, the group chatted and laughed, enjoying the freedom and adventure of exploring the natural surroundings. The path meandered through towering trees and thick undergrowth, with occasional glimpses of sunlight filtering through the canopy above. They navigated around fallen branches, crossed small streams, and ducked under low-hanging vines, their footsteps echoing in the quiet woods. The air was filled with the earthy scent of pine needles and the distant calls of birds and wildlife. Occasionally, they strayed off the main trail to explore hidden nooks and crannies, discovering secret clearings and unique rock formations. These detours added an element of excitement to their journey, as they uncovered hidden gems within the vast expanse of the Pine Barrens. Despite the occasional scratches from thorny bushes and the muddy patches they encountered, the group pressed on, fueled by curiosity and a sense of camaraderie. As Darren and the group of kids approached the dome-shaped hut near a spring, a sense of unease crept over them. The structure loomed before them, its organic design blending seamlessly with the natural surroundings. The air around the hut seemed to hum with an eerie energy, causing the group to exchange nervous glances. Curiosity piqued, Darren took the lead, stepping closer to the hut to get a better look. The intricate weaving of branches and foliage that formed the dome's walls was a testament to someone's craftsmanship, yet the purpose of such a structure deep in the woods remained a mystery. As they circled the hut, they noticed the unmistakable stench of decay lingering in the air, growing stronger with each step. Their attention was drawn to a dead deer lying within the confines of the hut. The sight of the stripped carcass sent a shiver down their spines, and Darren couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong about the scene before them. The group stood in silence, their eyes darting nervously around the clearing, a sense of foreboding settling over them. As the group observed the unsettling sight before them, a tense silence enveloped the clearing. The sense of being watched lingered in the air, a primal instinct warning them of unseen eyes tracking their every move. Darren's skin prickled with unease, a deep sense of dread settling in the pit of his stomach. Suddenly, a rustling sound echoed from behind the hut, causing the group to startle and whirl around each other in unison. Their hearts raced as they strained their eyes to catch a glimpse of the source of the disturbance. A heavy silence followed, broken only by the distant call of a bird in the treetops. Then, as if emerging from the shadows, a massive figure stepped into view. The creature stood tall and imposing, its form obscured by a tangled mass of matted hair that cascaded down its body. Darren's breath caught in his throat as he took in the sheer size and primordial appearance of the being that stood before him. A collective gasp escaped the group as they beheld the creature standing mere feet away from them. Its eyes, hidden behind a curtain of tangled hair, seemed to bore into their very souls. Darren's mind raced, struggling to comprehend the sight before him, a creature unlike anything he had ever imagined. The creature emitted a low, deep guttural sound that sent shivers down Darren's spine. The air around them seemed to vibrate with an otherworldly energy, a palpable sense of danger hanging heavy in the clearing. Darren felt a primal fear grip him, an instinctual urge to flee from this unknown entity. With a sudden jarring movement, the creature let out a deafening roar that reverberated through the forest. The sheer force of its cry sent the group scrambling backward, their hearts pounding in their chests. In that moment, Darren knew they were facing something beyond their understanding, a being that defied logic and reason. As the creature advanced towards them, Darren's instincts kicked in, urging him to run. Without looking back, he grabbed his brother's hand and led the group in a frantic sprint through the underbrush, their minds reeling from the encounter with the mysterious being of the Pine Barrens. And so, the tale of their eerie encounter with the wild man of the woods would be whispered among them for years to come. A chilling reminder of the unfathomable mysteries that lurked in the darkness of the New Jersey Pine Barrens. In 2010, a former police officer embarked on a journey into the heart of the forest, driven by a quest for answers after a life-altering encounter with Bigfoot 10 years earlier. The mysterious sighting had sparked a deep fascination within him, leading him to join a dedicated group focused on uncovering the truth behind the elusive creatures. Armed with his experience in law enforcement and a newfound passion for cryptozoology, the man immersed himself in the world of Bigfoot research. He became part of a team that strategically placed game trail cameras in the dense wilderness, hoping to capture elusive glimpses of the legendary creature that roamed the area. One day, checking a camera trap just off the side of a main road, instantly feeling a sense of unease from the moment he arrived, he brushed it off and proceeded deeper into the woods. As he checked his cameras, he noticed unusual impressions in the ground near one camera, but didn't think much of it. However, as he approached the second camera, a feeling of dread washed over him. Ignoring his instincts, he continued his task until he heard snaps of twigs and a strange noise that sounded a bit like a deer snorting. His senses heightened, and he felt a presence nearby. As he fumbled through his keys to unlock the camera, suddenly a chilling moan-like growl echoed through the trees. Terrified, he slowly raised his head and caught a glimpse of a massive figure crouching near a tree, covered in dark, bushy hair. In a swift movement, the creature darted across the clearing, sending the man into a panic. Convinced he was in grave danger, he sprinted towards the road, leaving his camera unlocked in his haste to escape. The man's heart raced as he pushed through the underbrush, fearing the creature was on his heels. Miraculously, he reached the safety of the road, gasping for breath and overcome with fear. Shaken to his core, he raced home to his concerned wife, recounting the harrowing encounter in tears. The man reflected on the possible reasons behind the unsettling encounter. He pondered the idea that the creatures had intentionally lured him into the woods to confront him. The area where he had set up his cameras and conducted research had been a frequent hotspot for Bigfoot sightings and activity. As he processed the sequence of events, the man began to see the incident as a deliberate act by the creatures to teach him a lesson and protect their territory. The looming figure, the eerie growls, and the intense feeling of impending danger all seemed orchestrated to convey a clear message. His presence was unwelcome, and he should respect the boundaries of the elusive beings that roamed the shadows of these woods. The man's realization of the potential motivations behind the encounter brought a newfound understanding of the delicate balance between human curiosity and the mysteries of the forest. The creatures, known to inhabit the area, had made their stance clear through a chilling display of power and intimidation, leaving the man shaken and humbled by the raw force of the untamed wilderness. Patrick and his friend found themselves in the midst of a hurried and unexpected house move one cold March evening in rural Iowa. A close friend and his girlfriend were facing eviction and in desperate need of assistance. Without hesitation, Patrick and his friend volunteered to help, despite the late hour and chilly temperatures. The urgency of the situation required them to work quickly and efficiently to transport all belongings to the new location within a mere 24 hours. As they embarked on the daunting task of loading and unloading furniture and boxes, little did they know that their act of kindness would lead them into a terrifying and surreal encounter with the unknown. As the evening wore on and the hours ticked by, Patrick and his friend worked tirelessly to move the last remaining items into the new house. The air was frigid, with a thin blanket of snow covering the ground, adding an eerie stillness to the rural landscape. The glow of the setting sun gave way to the flickering light of their bonfire, casting long shadows and highlighting the trees that surrounded the property. Despite the cold and fatigue, a sense of camaraderie and determination filled the air as they continued their laborious task. The crackling of the bonfire mixed with the sounds of their laughter and banter as they pushed through the night, fueled by a sense of urgency to help their friends in need. The music playing from inside the house provided a backdrop of muffled tunes. As the night progressed and the bonfire roared to life, its flames dancing high into the dark sky, the group took brief breaks to warm themselves by the intense heat. The contrast of the cold night air against the searing heat of the bonfire created a surreal and almost dreamlike atmosphere. Little did they know that the tranquility of the night would soon be shattered by an unimaginable terror that lurked in the shadows, waiting to reveal itself in a tumultuous display of power and fear. Frozen in terror, they could only watch as the creature began to wreak havoc on a nearby old oak tree, tearing it apart with unimaginable strength. Limbs snapped, bark flew, and the ground trembled with each powerful movement of the creature. The sound was so loud, it felt like the very earth was shaking beneath their feet. Despite their overwhelming fear, Patrick and his friend knew they had to flee to safety. They ran into the farmhouse, barricading themselves inside, their hearts pounding with a mix of adrenaline and terror. Peering out the windows, they could see the flickering flames of the bonfire casting an eerie light on the night, but they dared not venture back outside. Throughout the long, terrifying night, they huddled together, unsure if the creature would return or if they were truly safe. The sounds of the roaring fire and the echoing roars of the creature haunted their every thought, leaving them traumatized and sleepless. When dawn finally broke, they cautiously ventured outside to assess the damage. The once majestic oak tree now lay in ruins, a stark reminder of the immense power of the creature they had encountered. The air was heavy with the scent of freshly splintered wood, a chilling aromatic reminder etched into their memories forever. As they surveyed the destruction, a sense of unease lingered in the air. The normalcy of rural life had been shattered by the presence of an unknown, otherworldly being. Patrick knew that he would never look at the world in the same way again, forever changed by the inexplicable terror that had engulfed them that fateful night in rural Iowa. Shane described 3 encounters with a mysterious creature in the woods. His first encounter as a child while deer hunting revealed a strange figure that walked like a man but vanished into the thicket. His second encounter as an adult driving home involved a tall, dark shadow with red eyes crossing the road swiftly. However, it was Shane's third encounter that left him terrified. He was out hunting wild hogs in the forest when he decided to set up in a tree. As he peered from his vantage point, hidden high in a tree stand, his senses heightened by the adrenaline coursing through his veins, Shane caught a glimpse of a creature moving stealthily through the dense undergrowth. The creature's movements were fluid and silent, almost ghost-like as it navigated the forest, with a grace that belied its immense size and power. The dappled sunlight filtered through the canopy, casting fleeting shadows and highlights on the creature's dark and imposing form. Shane watched in awe as the creature traversed the forest floor with a sense of purpose and determination, its every step exuding a quiet confidence and a primal awareness of its surroundings. Suddenly, the creature pounced through the air with a calculated open hand swipe of its hand. The creature delivered a powerful blow to the side of the hog, sending it flying through the air like a rag doll. The force of the impact was so great that the hog collided with a tree with a sickening thud echoing through the woods. The sheer strength of the creature was on full display as it effortlessly grabbed the hog by the neck, dominating the unfortunate animal with ease. As the hog lay defenseless on its side, the creature's next move was even more startling. Rearing up with its left hand, the creature unleashed a series of brutal strikes upon the hog's body. Each blow landed with bone-crushing force, the sound of breaking ribs reverberating through the air like gunshots. The relentless assault continued, the creature's primal instincts driving it to assert dominance over its prey in a display of raw power and savagery. Witnessing this intense and harrowing scene unfold before his eyes, Shane was struck by the brutal efficiency and ferocity of the creature's attack. The speed and precision with which the creature dispatched the hog left him both awed and terrified, confronting him with the stark reality of nature's unforgiving cruelty. Shane watched in disbelief as the creature effortlessly killed the hog, demonstrating a level of strength and precision that was beyond anything he had ever seen. Despite the creature's brutal display, Shane noticed a sense of intelligence and awareness in its eyes, prompting him to stay still and silent in his hiding place up in the tree stand. As the intense encounter reached a pivotal moment, Shane found himself locked in a silent exchange with the mysterious creature. With the hog's life now extinguished, the creature's attention shifted to its surroundings and its gaze swept over the area. In a surreal and heart-pounding moment, Shane realized that the creature had detected his presence, likely through its heightened sense of smell. The creature's head tilted slightly, its brow furrowing in what seemed like a mix of surprise and curiosity. As its gaze focused on the tree stand, where Shane lay concealed in camouflage, there was a profound sense of recognition that passed between them. In that fleeting moment, Shane sensed a message conveyed through the creature's penetrating gaze, the unspoken words echoing with a silent warning. "You are not supposed to be here." Despite the tension and unease hanging in the air, the creature's demeanor did not appear aggressive or hostile toward Shane. Instead, there was a quiet acknowledgement of each other's presence, a mutual understanding of boundaries that should not be crossed. With a final glance that seemed to convey a mix of wariness and respect, the creature turned away from Shane, and with deliberate steps began to move back into the depths of the forest. As the creature disappeared into the wilderness once more, leaving Shane alone with a cacophony of emotions ranging from fear to wonder, the encounter left an indelible mark on him. The silent exchange had transcended mere animal instinct, hinting at a deeper connection between man and beast. A profound moment of shared recognition, and a glimpse into the mysterious world of the unknown that lay beyond the edges of human understanding. In the vast wilderness of Otter Tail County, Minnesota, Bob found himself in a perplexing situation during a hunting trip in 2008. After taking a shot at a buck, Bob descended from his tree stand to investigate for blood trails or if the animal was hit. As he followed the deer's trail, he was startled by a bizarre, escalating sound unlike anything he had ever heard. The noise, starting as a low rumble and crescendoing into a high-pitched scream, this caused another startled buck to bolt away in a panic, leaving Bob alone in the field with the unsettling sound echoing in his ears. Perplexed by the strange encounter, Bob attempted to replicate the sound in vain as he failed to even get close to mimicking it. He was further unnerved when the unseen presence snorted in response before vanishing into the woods with a thunderous commotion, breaking branches in its path. Despite his curiosity, Bob felt an overwhelming sense of unease. that led him to eventually leave the area without delving deeper into the source of the mysterious-sounding creature. Years later, in autumn 2012, Bob ventured into the dense wilderness of southeast Minnesota for another hunting expedition, this time perched in a cottonwood tree near a creek. Suddenly, he heard a deep, human women-like scream that reverberated through the stillness of the forest, prompting him to prepare to leave. His attention was then drawn to an unexpected sight, a deer dashing across the field, moving in a peculiar manner that seemed to hint at a cautious approach to its surroundings. As daylight waned, Bob was startled again by the sound of two childlike voices, giggling and conversing in an unintelligible language, emanating from the nearby woods. Despite the innocent nature of the chatter, the disembodied voices of what seemed to be little girls both intrigued and unsettled Bob. The presence of unseen entities engaging in playful banter in the dark depths of the forest, it made no sense that children or a family were so far out in the wilderness, heading into the deep woods at dusk. This filled Bob with a primal sense of dread, compelling him to retreat cautiously, armed with a heightened sense of vigilance. Reflecting on these eerie encounters, Bob found himself grappling with unanswered questions and lingering unease, unsure of the true nature of the strange phenomena he had witnessed. The unsettling interactions with unknown forces in the wilderness left an indelible mark on Bob, prompting him to question the boundaries of the known and the unexplained, forever altering his perception of the natural world. Armando, a truck driver from New Jersey, had an extraordinary encounter on a fateful night in Longview, Texas. As a dedicated owner-operator truck driver, Armando embarked on a routine drive from New Jersey to Dallas, Texas, in search of a new trailer to further his business ventures. Along for the journey was Armando's loyal companion, Buddy, a tiny Jack Russell Terrier who provided companionship and entertainment during his long-haul travels. It was a chilly morning on March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, when Armando made a brief stop along I-20 West in Longview, Texas. As he pulled over to let Buddy stretch his legs in a patch of woods dividing the east and west sides of the highway, an uncanny series of events unfolded that would leave Armando questioning the reality of what he encountered. Initially, the tranquil surroundings of the early morning woods seemed peaceful. Armando, keeping a watchful eye on Buddy as he roamed, he noticed an eerie quietness settling in. The absence of typical forest sounds like chirping birds and rustling leaves sent a shiver down Armando's spine, signaling an impending sense of unease. As Armando called out for Buddy, a series of peculiar events began to unfold. The distant sounds of animals moving through the woods soon escalated into frantic commotion, resembling a chase scene involving wild pigs. Armando's concern for Buddy peaked as he feared his beloved dog may be in danger amidst the chaotic sounds echoing through the woods. Venturing further into the wooded area in search of Buddy, Armando stumbled upon a sight that defied all logical explanation. Perched high in a tree, Armando caught a glimpse of a colossal, ape-like creature with distinctive red eyes, emitting an unsettling presence in the dim moonlight. As Armando's gaze locked with the creature, a sense of primal fear gripped him, rendering him frozen in place. The creature's massive stature, muscular build, and haunting gaze painted a picture of raw power and astonishing presence. The creature emitted guttural sounds and gestures that hinted at an unknown language or communication method. In a heart-pounding moment, a male counterpart of the creature emerged from the forest, joining the perplexing encounter. With a commanding presence, the male creature displayed a sense of coordination with the female counterpart in the tree, hinting at a complex social structure within their species. The tension in the air was palpable as Armando found himself at the mercy of these mysterious beings, unsure of their intentions or potential threat. However, a surprising turn of events unfolded as the male creature, with a scarred thigh and imposing presence, offered Armando an unexpected reprieve. In a moment of silent communication, the male creature conveyed a nod of understanding to Armando, signaling a détente and allowing Armando to slowly retreat to safety. With a mix of awe, fear, and bewilderment, Armando made a hasty departure from the surreal encounter. His mind reeling with unanswered questions and a newfound respect for the beings he had encountered. In the aftermath of the encounter, Armando grappled with a range of emotions, from fear and disbelief to a deep sense of curiosity and intrigue. His account of the encounter stood as a testament to the uncharted territories of the natural world and the mysteries that lurked beyond human understanding. The profound experience left an indelible mark on Armando, sparking a newfound fascination with the unknown and a quest for answers in the realm of cryptid encounters. Back in 1889, Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States, shared an intriguing story in his book, The Wilderness Hunter. Known for his outdoor expertise, Roosevelt recounted a tale told to him by an old mountain trapper named Bauman. This particular story stuck with Roosevelt, as it was the only one of its kind in the book. Bauman's narrative piqued Roosevelt's interest, and it may captivate you as well. Bauman, a seasoned frontiersman, was not typically superstitious. However, one story recounted by Bauman caught Roosevelt's full attention. Bauman, with his German ancestry and exposure to various folklore, shared a chilling account that Roosevelt believed in earnest, evident in how Roosevelt hesitated and shuddered at crucial points in the tale. The story unfolded when Bauman, still a young man, was trapping in a rugged mountain pass with his partner. Despite the pass's ominous past where a solitary hunter had met a gruesome end the year before, Bauman and his companion boldly ventured into the area in search of beavers. Setting up camp in a small glade near a stream, they soon realized they were not alone in the wilderness. Returning to camp at dusk, the trappers discovered signs of a visitor. A bear had ransacked their belongings and demolished their shelter. Intriguingly, their visitor's footprints seemed oddly human-like, a detail that unsettled both men. As night fell, an eerie event unfolded when a mysterious creature lurked near their camp, emitting a wild beast odor. Startled, Bauman fired at the shadowy figure but missed. The unseen creature retreated into the darkness, leaving the trappers on edge through the night but relatively unharmed. The following day, as they gathered their traps, a sense of unease lingered. Bauman's partner headed back to camp, while Bauman remained to collect the final beaver traps. Upon his return, Bauman encountered a scene of horror. His friend lay lifeless, his neck broken, and 4 wound marks on his throat. Deep footprints surrounding the camp hinted at a large bipedal intruder, sparking fear and confusion in Bauman. After discovering his partner's lifeless body with terrible injuries, Bauman's rational mind was engulfed by a primal fear, sensing a malevolent force at play in the desolate wilderness. The deep footprints surrounding the camp where the attack happened, coupled with the uncanny human-like tracks observed earlier, fueled his growing dread of being hunted by this unseen apex predator. Instinctively grabbing his trusty rifle, Bauman made a swift decision to escape the valley, driven by a primal survival urge. His flight on horseback was hasty, leaving behind their camp, provisions, beaver hides, and most possessions in a bid to outrun the unseen threat haunting the rugged terrain. The gravity of the experience left Bauman in a state of deep shock and disbelief, grappling with the realization that he had encountered something far more sinister than any known predator in the wild. The overwhelming sense of facing an otherworldly presence, one that defied logical explanation, plagued his thoughts as he sought safety in distant horizons, his mind haunted by the shadows of the malevolent entity that lurked amidst the untamed wilderness. Roosevelt, in documenting Bauman's tale, noted eerie parallels with present-day accounts of Sasquatch sightings. The bipedal footprints, pungent odor, and brutal attack on Bauman's partner mirrored modern-day encounters with the legendary creature. Despite attempts to rationalize the events as the work of a cunning wild beast, Roosevelt acknowledged the lingering mystery shrouding Bauman's ordeal. The tale of Bauman's terrifying encounter serves as a reminder of the untamed wilderness and the mysteries that dwell within. Whether it was a real-life monster or an unknown creature, the narrative remains a chilling testament to the dangers that lurk in the wild unknown. In September 2007, Kevin, an experienced outdoorsman and passionate hunter, delved into meticulous preparations for a hunting expedition in the expansive wilderness of Lavaca County, Texas, located in the southern region near Victoria. Delving into his passion for hunting, he meticulously orchestrated the setup of feeders across the vast expanse of 300 acres, characterized by a diverse terrain of pasture land, interspersed with majestic oak trees and dense scrub oak thickets. Fueled by the thrill of exploration, Kevin navigated the rugged landscape with purpose, strategically placing apple blocks and feeders to attract game, particularly mindful of the prevalent hog population in the area. Against the backdrop of a scorching Texas afternoon, Kevin's reverent engagement with the natural environment unfolded seamlessly as he adeptly maneuvered through the terrain, his keen senses attuned to the nuances of the wild. As he crouched down to inspect the game trails, the tranquil atmosphere was abruptly shattered by a startling burst of sound. The jolt of surprise prompted him to swiftly draw his pistol, his senses hyper-focused on the source of the disturbance. To his astonishment, he caught sight of a massive figure moving swiftly on two legs across the landscape. The creature's agile movements defied conventional norms, covering the terrain with effortless speed before seamlessly transitioning to all fours as it vanished into the dense brush at the periphery. The sheer force and fluidity of its motion left Kevin awestruck, likening its presence to a behemoth, akin to a Mack truck barreling through the undergrowth. After the intense encounter, he embarked on a thorough investigation to seek tangible evidence that could validate his unnerving experience. Despite his diligent efforts, he failed to uncover any physical traces of the creature's presence, leaving him with a sense of bewilderment and a lingering unease. The absence of concrete proof did little to diminish the impact of the encounter on Kevin's psyche, as the vivid memory of the creature's imposing presence continued to haunt him. Struggling to make sense of the event, Kevin grappled with conflicting emotions and tried to rationalize the encounter within the confines of his known reality. However, the overwhelming impressions of the creature's large, bipedal form and powerful movements left an indelible mark on his consciousness, leading him to tentatively accept that he had encountered an enigmatic, ape-like being beyond his comprehension. Seeking solace and understanding, Kevin opened up to his close circle of friends and family members, recounting the chilling details of his encounter with the unknown entity. In sharing his story, he found empathy and support from others who had also faced unexplained phenomena in the wilderness, fostering a sense of communal acknowledgement of the mysterious occurrences that often lurk beyond human understanding. In the years that followed, he mustered the courage to revisit the hunting grounds that had once been the setting for his inexplicable encounter. However, his return was met with a series of perplexing events, including the inexplicable destruction of his carefully placed feeders. These strange occurrences served as stark reminders of the enigmatic forces that dwelled within the wild expanse, prompting him to reassess his approach to venturing alone into the untamed wilderness. Subsequent outings alongside trusted companions only reinforced his unwavering commitment to avoid solo hunting expeditions and instead prioritize the safety of collective exploration in the vast expanses of nature. The shared experiences with friends underscored the importance of camaraderie and vigilance in navigating the unpredictable landscapes that harbored unknown entities and elusive mysteries. As he contemplated his profound encounter and the subsequent twists of fate that had unfolded in the wilderness, he found himself embracing the notion of undiscovered ape species inhabiting the remote corners of the natural world. With a newfound perspective on the intricate balance between human presence and the uncharted realms of wilderness, Kevin emphasized the imperative of arming oneself with preparedness and vigilance when delving into the unknown territories where these entities may tread. Through his evolving beliefs and experiences, he emerged as a steadfast advocate for cautious exploration and mutual respect between man and the mysterious denizens of the wild. Mike, a 65-year-old seasoned outdoorsman and experienced hunter, shared his chilling encounters with mysterious beings resembling Bigfoot. His first encounter occurred in the early 1970s while deer hunting deep in the woods of northern Minnesota. As he sat in his tree stand, Mike heard a peculiar chirping noise approaching. Initially resembling the melodic call of a bird, a subtle fault in the voice gave away that the noise was made by something else, unnaturally blending a bird-like tone with an eerie quality. Suddenly, a massive figure emerged, resembling a man but with prehistoric features. The creature, about 7 feet tall, and exuded a pungent odor as it curiously glanced around. Startled, Mike vocalized to the creature to grab its attention. In a swift and almost ghostly manner, the creature turned to look directly at him before vanishing into the dense forest, leaving him with a lingering sense of disbelief and intrigue. The sighting left Mike baffled and intrigued, prompting him to delve into the realm of Bigfoot research. He described the creature he saw as more man-like than ape, with distinct human facial features. His second encounter years later unfolded near his quaint cabin situated on a picturesque lakeshore, surrounded by tranquil waters reflecting the hues of the sky. It was here that Mike bore witness to a dark, mysterious figure swiftly gliding along the glistening shoreline. Despite the considerable distance that separated them, Mike's keen observations allowed him to estimate the creature's imposing height at approximately 7 to 7.5 feet, strikingly reminiscent of his initial encounter. The creature's agile movements, coupled with its mysterious disappearances into the natural tapestry of the landscape, further fueled Mike's unwavering curiosity and deepened his resolve to unravel the mystery surrounding these elusive entities. In his final encounter during a conservation expedition deep in the heart of the wilderness, Mike and his intrepid team stumbled upon compelling evidence of Bigfoot activity, sending shivers down their spines. The air crackled with tension as they encountered a spine-chilling bluff charge, where a dark figure emerged and charged them, shaking trees and branches between the quivering brush, setting their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and fascination. The vocalizations of the creature resonated through the dense forest, stunning the group of men as they stood paralyzed, sending a primal chill down their spines, the roars of the behemoth Sasquatch echoing through the ancient trees. Despite the creature's abrupt vanishing act, leaving only an eerie silence in its wake, the subtle yet unmistakable signs and the lingering sense of awe confirmed to Mike the undeniable truth of a brush with the unknown, a realm beyond mere mortal comprehension. As the final chapter of Mike's riveting encounters unfolded, a tapestry of inexplicable events unraveled, leaving an indelible mark on his psyche. From unexplained illnesses after the encounters to profound feelings of deep unease, hints of infrasound manipulation peppered his experiences, hinting at the otherworldly abilities of the elusive Bigfoot entities. These haunting encounters, woven intricately with ongoing research and tireless investigations, served to illuminate the mysterious existence of these elusive beings, casting a shadow of mystery and intrigue over the wilderness that had once been familiar to him. Each encounter kindled a profound curiosity in Mike, igniting a deep-seated respect for the ancient secrets shrouded within the depths of the forest, a testament to the enduring enigma of the uncharted wilds. In the heart of Mississippi, a seasoned narcotics agent, Mike, found himself face to face with a creature unlike anything he had ever encountered. It was a typical day for Mike, stationed on a remote state highway that led to a management area. As part of his duties, he had pulled over to complete some paperwork at the entrance of the area. Little did he know that this routine stop would turn into a chilling experience that would stay with him forever. Standing at the back of his vehicle, Mike suddenly noticed movement out of the corner of his eye. As he turned to look, he was stunned to see a figure standing just 50 to 60 feet away from him. The creature stood upright, towering at a similar height to Mike, with a powerful and muscular build. It exuded an aura of strength and primal energy. The creature appeared to have a mix of human and animal characteristics. Its legs were slightly bent, its arms hung long, almost down to its knees, and its body had patches of missing hair, particularly around the chest and abdomen. Its face was broad with dark, intense eyes that seemed to lock onto Mike's gaze. Despite the creature's formidable appearance, its expression remained stoic and unchanging, sending shivers down Mike's spine. What struck Mike the most was the sheer power exuding from the creature's form. Its muscles rippled under its fur, and its broad shoulders hinted at immense strength. The encounter felt surreal, yet undeniably real, as Mike and the creature held each other's gaze in a tense standoff. As if the presence of one enigmatic being wasn't enough, a low, guttural growl resonated from the nearby brush, indicating the possible presence of another unseen entity. The unnerving sound added an extra layer of fear and uncertainty to the already tense situation. In that moment, Mike's training and experience as a law enforcement officer kicked in. Despite his shock and disbelief at the sight before him, he maintained his composure and vigilance. The encounter lasted only a few intense moments before the creature turned and disappeared into the brush, leaving Mike to ponder the reality of what he had just witnessed. Reflecting on the encounter, Mike couldn't shake off the feeling of awe and dread that lingered in the air. The encounter had opened his eyes to the existence of entities beyond his wildest imagination, lurking in the shadows of the wilderness. The encounter left him with more questions than answers, fueling a curiosity tinged with a hint of fear about the mysteries that lay hidden in the depths of the forest. As he recounted his experience, Mike's voice carried a mix of awe, uncertainty, and a newfound respect for the unknown. His encounter with the mysterious creature had left an indelible mark on his psyche, forever altering his perception of the world around him. The encounter served as a stark reminder that in the vast expanses of nature, secrets and enigmas awaited those brave enough to seek them out. Shirley shares her captivating encounter that happened many years ago during a science camp in California. Born and raised in the Central Valley near Castle Air Force Base, Shirley recounts her childhood spent with her boy cousins who taught her about hunting and survival in the wilderness. Despite her initial interest in wildlife, her true passion lay in writing. Shirley's life-altering encounter took place on the eve of her 13th birthday during a 6th grade science camp at Camp Green Meadows, located near the majestic Sierra National Forest in California. Despite the serene aura of the campsite, a sense of eeriness lingered in the air as night blanketed the surroundings. Shirley, ever the astute observer, chose to position herself near a picnic table, facing a towering ancient tree that cast formidable shadows under the moonlit sky. In the dead of night, as silence enveloped the campgrounds and most campers were immersed in deep slumber, Shirley was roused from her peaceful dreams by an urgent call of nature. Slowly unzipping her sleeping bag, she was momentarily paralyzed by a sight that defied all logic. There, in the pale moonlight, stood a colossal white-silver figure. The unearthly being towered above her, its presence both mesmerizing and unsettling. Details became etched in her memory. The creature's eyes flickering with an otherworldly glow, its cascade of straight, wavy hair framing a face that seemed almost familiar. Heart pounding in her chest, Shirley's instincts warred within her. Should she illuminate the area with the harsh beam of her flashlight, or remain concealed, pondering this enigmatic figure from the safety of the shadows? Though fear gripped her, she knew this encounter would forever alter her perception of reality. Throughout the years, Shirley grappled with reoccurring dreams and memories of the encounter, yearning to understand the mysterious being she saw. Engaging in extensive research, Shirley delved into books, documentaries, and online forums, seeking corroborating evidence or other encounters in her area. She eventually reached out to experts in the field and shared her detailed account, including specific details of the creature's features and demeanor. Shirley believes Sasquatch to be closely related to humans, possibly sharing a small percentage of human DNA, akin to gorillas and chimpanzees. She describes Sasquatch as a sophisticated being that mimics sounds and learned to adapt to avoid human encounters. As Shirley concludes her recount of the mysterious encounter at Camp Green Meadows, she stresses the impact this experience has had on her life. Despite the passage of time, the memory remains vivid in her mind, prompting her to continue exploring the world of the unknown. Shirley's narrative serves as a reminder of the vast mysteries that lie beyond our understanding, waiting to be discovered and shared with the world. Fox, a spiritual man and resilient individual who overcame life-threatening challenges following a traumatic accident, found solace in the wilderness and a deep-rooted curiosity about the unexplained. Raised on a sprawling farm, his childhood was marked by a horrifying incident where a prized horse fell victim to a savage attack that defied conventional explanations. The torn carcass bore witness to an inexplicable force, fueling Fox's interest in elusive creatures that roam the woods. Years later, on a fateful camping trip with friends at a remote ranch, Fox's thirst for adventure led him into a night of terror and uncertainty. Nestled in the heart of the wilderness, the campsite exuded a sense of isolation, surrounded by untamed expanses of land and rugged terrain. As night fell and a crackling campfire provided a flickering warmth, the group's laughter and camaraderie filled the air, masking the looming presence of the unknown. It was then that a bone-chilling roar shattered the tranquility of the night, sending shivers down the spines of the campers. The primal sound echoed through the stillness, reverberating with a power that seemed to defy the natural order. The campers, gripped by a sense of primal fear, exchanged nervous glances, their hearts pounding in unison as they grappled with the unnerving reality of their situation. Undeterred by the mounting unease, Fox and two companions, his trusted allies in the face of the unknown, resolved to investigate the source of the mysterious roar. Armed with only a rifle and a feeble flashlight, they set out into the shadowy depths of the wilderness, their senses heightened and their nerves on edge. The darkness cloaked them like a shroud, the silence broken only by the crunch of leaves beneath their feet and the erratic beam of the flashlight cutting through the night. Their journey into the unknown led them to a clearing near a hayfield, where they stumbled upon a scene that defied all logic and reason. Massive hay bales, typically immovable objects, lay strewn asunder, their displacement a testament to a force of unimaginable strength. The sight chilled Fox to the core, stirring primal instincts of survival and heightening his awareness of the hidden dangers that lurked in the shadows. Fearing to alarm the rest of the group, Fox and his friends concealed the unsettling truth of their nighttime encounter, shrouding the campsite in an eerie silence. The following morning, the discovery of colossal footprints encircling the camp fueled speculation of a curious visitor, observing them from the darkness, unseen yet undeniably present. The mysteries deepened for Fox years later, during a hunting expedition, where a routine hog hunt turned into a perplexing enigma that defied all logic and reason. As Fox and his companions ventured into the wilderness in pursuit of their prey, unaware of the uncanny forces at play, their fates intertwined with the elusive and inscrutable beings that dwelled in the shadows. Armed with determination and a hunter's instinct, Fox stalked through the dense undergrowth, his senses attuned to the pulse of the wild and the rhythm of the forest. The crack of his rifle split the serene air as he successfully targeted some hogs, including a massive boar that stood as a testament to the wild's raw power and primal majesty. However, as the wounded creatures fell under the weight of Fox's precision, a subtle shift occurred in the fabric of the wilderness. Unbeknownst to the hunters, certain individual Sasquatch creatures were drawn to the echoing gunshots. Like a siren's call, they emerged from the depths of the forest to claim their prize. With an otherworldly stealth that eluded mortal senses, these enigmatic beings, rumored to possess an unparalleled intelligence and a connection to ancient mysteries, crept towards the fallen hogs, their intentions veiled in mystery. In a haunting display of preternatural skill and a silent pact with the shadows, the elusive Sasquatch creatures seized the wounded or fallen animals before the hunters could reach their kills. As Fox and his companions scoured the wilderness with mounting confusion and disbelief, the absence of the 350-pound hog spoke volumes of the surreal events unfolding in their midst. The disappearance of the hogs, seemingly orchestrated by unseen hands that moved in tandem with the forest's whispers, left Fox and his companions at the mercy of forces beyond their comprehension. The forest, once a place of familiar terrain and predictable outcomes, now harbored secrets and mysteries that danced on the edge of human understanding, casting a shadow of bewilderment over the hunters' mundane expedition. These inexplicable encounters left Fox grappling with profound questions about the unknown, delving into the realms of ancient myths and uncharted territories where reality blurs with the supernatural. James was a teenager when he had a chilling encounter in the woods of Pennsylvania that would haunt him for the rest of his life. Growing up in a suburban area of the state, James often visited his grandparents in Pennsylvania during summer family reunions. Every year, the kids would camp out in tents while the adults stayed in the house, making it a fun and memorable event for the family. During one of these summer visits, James and his cousins started hearing strange howling sounds in the distance while camping out in the tents. The adults dismissed it as the sound of a fire siren or an animal, but James couldn't shake off the eerie feeling that lingered in the air. Years later, James relocated to southwestern Pennsylvania due to his parents' job transfer. There, he befriended a local boy named Billy, and the two of them spent their time exploring the rural area on their bikes. One day, Billy suggested they go fishing at a spot he knew by a creek, located deep in the woods. As they ventured further into the secluded area, they stumbled upon a serene clearing by the water that seemed perfect for camping. Excited by the idea, they planned a camping trip to the spot, packed with their essentials in a duffel bag and an old canvas tent. They rode their bikes to the remote location for a weekend getaway. The first day of their camping trip was idyllic. They enjoyed fishing, swimming in the creek, and relishing the beauty of the unspoiled nature around them. However, as night fell, their peaceful sojourn took a terrifying turn. They heard rocks being thrown around their campsite from above, and initially thinking it was a bear, they shouted to scare the animal away. But the disturbances persisted, with more rocks being thrown and eerie huffing sounds echoing through the woods. As the night crept on, casting long shadows over the secluded clearing where James and Billy had set up camp, a sense of dread descended upon them. The once familiar sounds of the wilderness now seemed tinged with an otherworldly quality, heightening their unease. Their escalating fears reached a crescendo in a moment that would forever be seared into their memories. Suddenly, emerging from the enveloping cloak of darkness, a looming figure materialized before them. The sheer size and intimidating presence of the creature evoked primal fear in both James and Billy, freezing them in place. It stood before them, a hulking silhouette that seemed to straddle the realms of human and beast. The creature's face, framed by the dim moonlight filtering through the trees, appeared as a bizarre amalgamation of simian features and humanoid characteristics. Its eyes gleamed with an inscrutable intelligence, locking onto James and Billy with a gaze that seemed to penetrate their very souls. A guttural growl rumbled from its throat, reverberating through the night air like a thunderous warning, sending shockwaves of terror rippling through the two boys. The unearthly fusion of primal ferocity and uncanny familiarity in the creature's countenance struck a chord of primal fear deep within James and Billy. The sheer unearthly presence of the entity defied comprehension, shattering their sense of reality and plunging them into a nightmarish encounter that would haunt them for the rest of their days. Paralyzed with fear, they watched as the creature turned and disappeared back into the woods, leaving them traumatized and shaken to the core. In the aftermath of the chilling encounter, James and Billy fled the campsite in panic, leaving behind their bikes and belongings as they raced back to safety. Upon returning home, James was plagued by the haunting memory of the creature's haunting gaze and guttural growl. The incident left him scarred, unable to look outside after dark. When authorities were called to investigate the incident, they attributed the strange occurrences to bear activity, dismissing James and Billy's account as a mere sighting of a wild animal. Despite their adamant belief that what they had encountered was no ordinary bear, the official report concluded otherwise, further isolating James in his haunting experience. Years later, as James reflected on that fateful night in the Pennsylvania woods, he couldn't shake off the chilling realization that there might be more to the wilderness than meets the eye. The encounter had left an indelible mark on him, serving as a stark reminder of the mysteries that lurk in the shadows of the world, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to venture into the unknown. In the early 80s, a 21-year-old man named John, an avid fisherman and hiker, found himself exploring the John Muir Wilderness near Huntington Lake, California. After a day of hiking, he stumbled upon a peaceful meadow surrounded by towering redwoods. Perched on a rocky outcrop amidst the serene beauty of the meadow, John's senses were suddenly heightened as he detected a subtle movement to his left. His initial assumption of encountering a grizzly bear, a common inhabitant of the wilderness, sent a shiver of apprehension down his spine. However, as the figure gradually materialized before him, a sense of disbelief and awe took hold. The sight before him defied all expectations. A towering 7-foot-tall being with vibrant orange hair reminiscent of a tabby cat, standing upright on 2 feet like a human. The sheer presence and peculiar appearance of the creature defied any categorization within the known realm of wildlife. In that heart-stopping moment of realization, John's mind grappled with the impossibility of what stood before him, challenging his understanding of the natural world and sparking a profound sense of bewilderment. Intrigued by the creature's unusual behavior, John watched in awe as it delicately foraged in the meadow, displaying a surprising level of dexterity and intentionality in its actions. The sight of the creature consuming plants and sticks with a certain finesse, akin to how one might eat corn on the cob, both fascinated and unsettled him. As the creature drew nearer, John, caught in a mix of fear and curiosity, instinctively raised his hand in a tentative gesture of greeting. However, the creature's reaction was unexpected. Startled by the sudden movement, it locked eyes with John, the intensity of its gaze piercing through him and sending a chill down his spine. In that moment, standing face to face with the being, John felt a wave of fear wash over him, a primal instinctual response to the unknown and the uncanny. Despite the palpable fear that gripped him, John couldn't help but notice the absence of aggression in the creature's demeanor. Its behavior was more akin to that of a curious observer, intrigued by this unexpected interaction with a human. The creature's unassuming yet inquisitive stance hinted at a deeper intelligence and sentience, challenging John's preconceived notions and leaving him with a sense of wonder tinged with unease. After a brief moment, the creature turned to leave, its head remaining fixed on the young man. Feeling a mix of fear and curiosity, he raised his hand, pleading for it not to go. Surprisingly, the creature acknowledged him by raising its hand, before eventually walking back into the woods, leaving the young man awestruck. Reflecting on the encounter, the young man found the creature's human-like features and behaviors puzzling. Its flat, human-like nose with larger nostrils, hairless hands, and well-groomed appearance left him in awe. The creature's nearly 7-foot-tall stature, wide shoulders, and V-shaped body structure added to its enigmatic allure. Despite the intrigue, the young man acknowledged the unnerving feeling that this creature did not belong in the natural realm. This sense of unnaturalness, combined with the creature's non-aggressive behavior during their encounter, sparked a deep curiosity in him about the true nature of these beings. In the aftermath, the young man grappled with whether to share his experience with others. Lacking belief from his usual circles, he kept the encounter to himself for years, finally confiding in his mother, who listened with an open mind and belief in his story. As the young man continued to visit the area, hoping for another glimpse of the mysterious creature, he remained cautious and contemplative about the true nature of these beings. Despite the allure and fascination they held, he recognized the potential dangers of seeking further encounters with these elusive forest dwellers. Bob, a seasoned hunter and avid nature enthusiast, found himself immersed in the tranquil embrace of his family's sprawling land in Alabama, teeming with prime hunting opportunities. Eager to capitalize on the bountiful wildlife that roamed their ancestral property, Bob set out on a hunting expedition brimming with anticipation and a sense of adventure. With the backdrop of familiar family land and a promising hunting season ahead, Bob's enthusiasm was palpable as he ventured deep into the wooded expanse, armed with his trusty rifle and a hunter's keen instinct. As he settled into his strategically chosen hunting stand, perched amidst the verdant wilderness, Bob's senses heightened in anticipation of the majestic bucks that had been captured on their trail cameras in recent days. The promise of a successful hunt hung in the air, fueling Bob's excitement as he waited patiently for the elusive game to make its appearance. The serene ambiance of the forest enveloped him, a familiar yet ever-changing backdrop that spoke of untold secrets and hidden wonders. Lost in the reverie of the impending hunt, Bob was abruptly interrupted by an uncanny disturbance in the natural rhythm of the forest. The tranquil hush was shattered by a sudden commotion as a group of startled deer bolted across his line of sight, their panicked flight hinting at an unseen threat lurking in the shadows. Perplexed by the uncharacteristic behavior of the wildlife, Bob's hunter instincts kicked into overdrive as he braced himself for a potentially noteworthy encounter. Intrigued by the erratic behavior of the fleeing deer and sensing an opportunity to track down a significant quarry, Bob's curiosity mingled with a tinge of apprehension as he readied himself for the unexpected twist awaiting him in the depths of the woodland. Little did he know that the mundane routine of a hunting expedition would soon give way to a series of surreal encounters that would challenge his understanding of the natural world and leave an indelible mark on his psyche. Upon moving to a new vantage point, Bob encountered a peculiar sight, a group of deer darting away frantically as if being pursued by a larger creature. Amping up his alertness, Bob readied his gun, expecting a massive buck to emerge. To his astonishment, what emerged from the woods was not a deer, but an imposing figure standing at 8 feet tall, moving with deliberate strides. Contrary to Bob's initial assumption of a typical wildlife encounter, the forest's ambiance shifted as the extraordinary being manifested before his eyes. A towering figure standing at an imposing 8 feet tall and weighing a hefty 700 pounds disrupted the tranquility of the woodland scene. Mesmerized by the entity's presence, Bob watched in awe as it effortlessly moved towards the scattering deer, dwarfing any creature he had ever encountered. As the colossal figure navigated through the undergrowth with a sense of purpose, its powerful strides resonating through the forest, Bob remained in a state of cautious fascination. Despite his apprehension, Bob maintained his composure, avoiding any sudden movements that might startle the cryptic being. Eventually, the towering figure veered into the tree line, prompting Bob to retreat cautiously, fearing drawing attention to himself. His heart racing, Bob recounted the unnerving encounter to his uncle months later, only to discover a long-held family secret about the entity lurking within their woodland domain. After the unsettling revelation of the creature on his family land in Alabama, Bob's curiosity and sense of adventure led him to distant Tennessee, where he found himself embroiled in a cryptic series of events that challenged his comprehension of reality. Visiting his ex-girlfriend's secluded residence nestled near an ancient Indian burial mound, Bob embarked on an expedition fraught with eerie encounters that defied conventional understanding. The tranquil ambiance of the remote Tennessee town belied the mysteries lurking beneath the surface, as Bob's visit to his ex-girlfriend's abode set the stage for a disconcerting revelation. While navigating the winding roads leading to the secluded property, the sighting of a colossal white creature perched at the edge of the road sent shivers down Bob's spine, stirring an unsettling blend of curiosity and trepidation within him. As the massive entity vanished from sight in a matter of a few swift strides, leaving Bob in a state of bafflement and intrigue, his ex-girlfriend's casual mention of similar sightings in the vicinity added a layer of intrigue to the unfolding narrative. The nonchalant acknowledgement of these mysterious occurrences hinted at a deeper undercurrent of unexplained phenomena haunting the secluded landscape, beckoning Bob into a realm where reality intertwined with the inexplicable. The following incident, unfolding in Tennessee's idyllic creek-line setting, marked a profound shift in Bob's life trajectory. A leisurely family outing turned harrowing as a bewitching creature, leaning over a fallen tree, fixated its gaze on Bob and his kin. The tranquil ambiance shattered as a barrage of small rocks hurled towards them, inducing a paralyzing fear in Bob, who remained transfixed by the creature's piercing eyes. In a harrowing moment of connection, Bob found himself locked in a surreal trance, a transcendent merging of consciousness with the being before him. As the unsettling encounter unfolded, a sense of eerie calm and curiosity overtook the initial dread, leaving Bob grappling with the aftermath of an encounter that transcended conventional understanding. Haunted by the visceral memories of these encounters, Bob's perception of the natural world underwent a profound transformation, instilling a newfound wariness and reverence for the unseen forces that lurked within the pristine landscapes he once cherished. The profound impact of these unsettling experiences cast a long shadow over Bob's hunting excursions, compelling him to confront the mysterious entities that inhabited the fringes of his familiar wilderness, forever altering his relationship with the untamed wilderness he once called home. In the small town of Folk, located in southwest Arkansas, a creature known as the Folk Monster has been a topic of discussion since the early 1970s. The town gained notoriety after a resident reported seeing this mysterious creature, sparking widespread interest and media attention. The legend of the folk monster was further perpetuated by the release of the 1973 movie, The Legend of Boggy Creek, which portrayed the creature's encounters. Since the 1800s, sightings of a Bigfoot-like creature in and around the area have been consistently reported, solidifying its place in local folklore. In the depths of Boggy Creek, there lies a stretch of land that holds a particular mystery. This land, which has been owned by the same family for generations, is shrouded in whispers of strange happenings. The family unwittingly stumbled upon a sinister secret that would forever haunt their dreams. It was a moonless night in 1906 when they ventured into the desolate wilderness in search of alligator slides. The air was thick with a sense of unease, and their hearts raced as they traversed the treacherous terrain. As their eyes adjusted to the dim light, their search took a horrifying turn. Amongst the mud and marsh, they discovered not one, but two sets of humanoid tracks that whispered of a nightmarish presence. One set belonged to a creature so small, its intentions remained enigmatic. But it was the second set, ominously larger, that sent shivers down their spines. The tracks were an aberration, a perversion of all that was known. Rather than the expected three-toed marks of local wildlife, the ground bore witness to five-toed, giant human-like footprints, each imprint imbued with an inexplicable malevolence. Panic seized the family as they realized the magnitude of their discovery. News spread like wildfire, igniting fear in the hearts of the nearby community. Whispers echoed through the village, each tale more horrifying than the last. Some believed the tracks belonged to a monstrous creature, lurking in the shadows, waiting to claim its next victim. Others feared that it was a harbinger of doom, a sign of some otherworldly entity descending upon their peaceful existence. The owner of the property was awoken from his slumber by the cries of distress that filled the night air. Sensing the urgency, he raced to the scene, an unrelenting knot forming in the pit of his stomach, as he beheld a massive shadow darting through the trees. His mind raced to comprehend the implications. What kind of malevolent force had set foot in their midst? Bewilderment danced across his face, etching lines of fear upon his brow. The weight of the unknown pressed heavily upon his spirit, leaving him filled with a sense of unease. He knew that the discovery of these mysterious tracks and what he saw that night would forever change the perception of their quaint community, shattering their illusion of safety and forcing them to confront the very real possibility that an enigmatic evil lurked among them. As he gazed into the abyss of Boggy Creek, the once familiar landscape now held an air of foreboding. The owner, haunted by the experience, could not shake the feeling that something sinister was on the rise, its malevolent presence lurking just out of sight. In the depths of his heart, he knew that the peace they had once enjoyed was forever shattered, replaced by a palpable fear that gripped the very core of their existence. One particularly chilling encounter occurred in 1971, when the Ford family had just moved into their new home. It was a peaceful Saturday night when Elizabeth Ford, still groggy from sleep, was awakened by a noise at the window. Startled, she noticed the curtains moving and saw a hairy hand sticking through the window. Initially mistaking it for a bear's paw, she soon realized that it was something much more sinister. As her eyes adjusted to the darkness, Elizabeth saw the creature's fiery red eyes staring back at her. Its heavy breathing filled the night air, sending chills down her spine. Elizabeth's husband, Bobby, and his brother, Don, rushed outside and fired several shots at the creature, causing it to retreat momentarily. Believing they had wounded the creature, the men searched for it, but found no signs of its presence. Confused, they returned to the house, only to hear the screams of the women inside. Bobby was suddenly grabbed by a hairy arm, engaged in a struggle with the creature. Fortunately, he managed to break free and escape, running back into the safety of the house. The local constable, Ernest Walraven, arrived soon after and conducted an extensive search of the surrounding area. However, he found no trace of the creature. As the family inspected their property the next morning, they discovered large, five-toed tracks, scratch marks on the porch, and damage to the windows. News of the incident spread quickly, capturing the attention of the public and media. The Ford family's encounter inspired the legendary film called The Legend of Boggy Creek in 1973, drawing further interest to the creature lurking in the woods. The sightings subsided in the following years, but periodically resurfaced, keeping the legend alive. It was the year 1986. A dense air of mystery hung over Boggy Creek, and it was during this time that the patriarch of a long-standing family encountered something so chilling that it would forever haunt his dreams. On an otherwise unassuming day, the owner of the property found himself in the company of a curious visitor. They embarked on an excursion, driving along a rugged path that led deep into the heart of the woods. As they neared a gate, an eerie stillness enveloped the air, warning of the unknown that awaited them. Stepping out of the vehicle to open the gate, the owner never anticipated the wild spectacle that would unfold before their very eyes. From the murky depths of the nearby creek emerged a figure so extraordinary, it defied the realm of human understanding. Covered in a thick coat of hair, the entity stood upright, towering from a distance of around 70 yards. Its presence was both mesmerizing and unnerving, sending shivers down their spines. Neither the owner nor the guest could comprehend what they were witnessing. This was private property, a sanctuary that lay hidden from prying eyes. Who or what could dare to venture into these sacred grounds? As the seconds ticked by, the creature, as if sensing their gaze, swiftly scurried back towards the safety of the creek, vanishing from sight in the blink of an eye. The visitor, stunned by the surreal encounter, demanded an explanation. They yearned to grasp the true nature of this enigma that had unfolded right before them. Seeking solace and understanding, they turned to the owner, hoping for some rational explanation. But how could one possibly make sense of the unfathomable? The owner, shaken to their core, struggled to find the right words. Faced with the inexplicable, they simply shrugged and referred to the creature as the folk monster, a moniker bestowed upon the unknown entity that had been whispered about in hushed tones by the locals. That encounter forever etched itself into the annals of their memories, leaving both the owner and the visitor with more questions than answers. Such a tantalizing taste of the bizarre would ignite a curiosity that could never be extinguished. And as the sun set on that fateful day, the enigma of Boggy Creek only grew deeper, leaving all who dared to explore its depths struggling to unravel its mysteries. In 1994, as two intrepid adventurers, Sarah and David, delved into the heart of Boggy Creek, they quickly realized that they had entered into a realm where danger lurked at every turn. The very air seemed thick with foreboding, and the dense foliage threatened to enclose them in its embrace. They had entered a treacherous world where survival was not guaranteed. The first hint of danger came in the form of a slithering serpent, its venomous fangs glinting beneath the dappled sunlight. Sarah's heart skipped a beat as she caught sight of the sleek body and mesmerizing eyes of a deadly cottonmouth snake. The creature coiled itself in fierce anticipation, ready to strike at a moment's notice. David, ever the vigilant explorer, instinctively stepped back, his senses heightened. He knew that one wrong move could have dire consequences. The pair decided to steer clear of the venomous serpent, taking a cautious detour to avoid any unnecessary encounters. As they continued their foray into the unknown, they stumbled upon a chilling sight. Lazily perched on half-submerged logs, giant alligators seemed to taunt the adventurers with their eerie stillness. The creatures, their eyes fixed on the horizon, appeared as gatekeepers to a realm hidden beneath the waters. Cautiously, they continued on, trying not to disturb their reptilian reverie. It was a delicate dance, a silent negotiation between human and beast, as they respected the wild inhabitants of Boggy Creek. They remained keenly aware that survival hinged on their ability to navigate through this hostile territory unscathed. With each step they took, Sarah and David were reminded of the unpredictable nature of this environment. The whispering wind seemed to carry the echoes of unseen dangers lurking just beyond their field of vision. Every rustle of leaves, every sudden splash in the water, sent their hearts racing with a mixture of fear and excitement. But it was amidst this untamed backdrop that their true encounter awaited them. As dusk blanketed the land in an ethereal glow, Sarah spotted a figure emerging from the shadows. Covered in matted fur, the creature stood stooped, its frame powerful, yet evoking an air of deep mystery. It was the Boggy Creek Monster, the enigmatic being that had bewitched the imaginations of countless individuals throughout the years. Sarah and David held their breath, captivated by the sight before them. The creature seemed to meld with the darkness, its glowing eyes peering directly into their souls, an unmistakable hate for human beings etched into its expression. In that moment of terrifying connection, the adventurers understood that they were witness to something extraordinary, something that defied rational explanation. As the creature stepped back, disappearing into the murky depths of Boggy Creek, Sarah and David exchanged glances filled with wonder and awe. In the early 1970s, during the peak of sightings in the area, a family had a spine-chilling encounter that remains etched in their memory. They had been on the boat ramp at Mercer Bayou, preparing their boat for a day of recreation when an eerie howl echoed through the woods. It was a peculiar sound, unlike anything they had heard before. Curiosity piqued. The mother, who had some Native American heritage, attempted to communicate with the source of the howl. To her surprise, the creature responded in kind, and a strange interaction ensued. The family cautiously approached the area, where they discovered what seemed to be an abandoned trailer nearby, untouched since its arrival. Suddenly, the creature emerged from the woods, standing upright and covered in hair. Towering at around 6 or 7 feet tall, it was a sight that defied all logical explanation. As fear gripped their hearts, a group of men wielding shotguns burst out of the trailer, seemingly in search of the same creature. The creature retreated at the sight of the men, leaving the family in a state of profound shock and awe of what they just witnessed. Another man, Tom Zorn, who recounts his first encounter with the monster during the 1950s. Late one night, while Zorn and his mother were at home, they heard heavy footsteps approaching their house. As the sound drew closer, Zorn cautiously aimed his pistol at the window, preparing for the unknown. Suddenly, a massive foot struck against the window, prompting Zorn to fire 3 rounds. However, the moment the shots rang out, an eerie silence descended outside. There was no evidence of the creature, no breathing or running, just stillness, as if the monster had vanished into thin air. Another witness, William Lunsford, shares his teenage experience with the Boggy Creek Monster. As Lunsford walked along a road, he spotted a strange figure squatting down, partially obscured by a tree limb. In fear, he watched as the creature rose to its feet, revealing eyes as black as coal. Lunsford felt a profound sense of intrusion, as if the monster could read his thoughts. The creature teetered for a moment before eventually walking away. From this encounter, Lunsford discovers a peculiar way to engage with the monster, mimicking the sound of rocks clapping together. In the midst of this cryptid tale lies a man who has become intimately familiar with the legend. Mark, the current owner of a portion of the land, has been a resident of the area since 1983. He took it upon himself to enhance the experience for visitors by creating the Monster Mart and collecting artifacts that would captivate and intrigue visitors and enthusiasts. Mark's intention was not to exploit the myth, but to provide an immersive and fulfilling experience for those who dared to venture into the unknown. Through his efforts, he hoped to erase the doubts and skepticism surrounding the legend and inspire a sense of wonder and adventure in those who visited his establishment. The perception of the Boggy Creek Monster has undergone a transformation over the years. What was once met with ridicule and skepticism has now become a subject of intrigue and curiosity. Lyle, a renowned author, played a significant role in reshaping the narrative. Through his fair and objective recounting of the stories, he shed light on the experiences of those who had encountered the creature, opening the minds of the community. People began to embrace their own experiences and share their stories, no longer fearing ridicule. The previously hesitant community now stands more united, realizing that the unexplained phenomena in their midst are worthy of consideration and respect. More individuals have come forward, recounting sightings and encounters that have shaped their lives. Some mainstream scientists suggest that many Bigfoot sightings, including the Boggy Creek Monster, can be attributed to mistaken identity, particularly with black bears. The dense foliage and poor lighting conditions make it easy for observers to misinterpret what they see. However, believers in the creature refute these explanations and see these people as mere career-driven skeptics, convinced that it is a genuine flesh-and-blood cryptid. The Boggy Creek legend has been woven into the very fabric of the land. It has intrigued and confounded generations with its elusive nature. The mere mention of its name evokes a sense of wonder and unease among the locals. Over the course of a century, sightings of this creature have multiplied, capturing the attention of believers and skeptics alike. From the earliest days in 1906, when two sets of distinct tracks were discovered, to the modern era, where eyewitness accounts continue to surface, the Boggy Creek Monster has left an indelible mark on the landscape of mystery. What sets this cryptid apart is the sheer variety of names it has been given throughout its history. From its early days as the Jonesville Monster, to its later monikers of the Foul Monster and more, ultimately, the Boggy Creek Monster and Folk Monster. This creature has undergone transformation and evolution in the imaginations of those who dare to ponder its existence. The tales surrounding the Boggy Creek Monster have become part of the local lore, passed down through generations. Each story carries with it a sense of excitement and apprehension, captivating listeners with its blend of the supernatural and the unknown. These accounts, like whispers in the wind, continue to shape the perception of the monster, adding layers of complexity to an already enigmatic tale. It is these accumulated sightings and eerie encounters that have solidified the creature's presence in the collective consciousness of the community. Locals who have ventured into the depths of the woods have walked away with stories that both mystify and terrify. The strange phenomena they have witnessed serve as a chilling reminder that there are forces at work in Boggy Creek that defy explanation. The legend has inspired countless books, documentaries, and even a highly influential movie. In the wake of its release, more individuals have come forward, emboldened to share their own encounters with the Boggy Creek Monster. These accounts, wrapped in a cloak of mystery, leave audiences yearning for more. But what is the truth behind these stories? Are they mere figments of the imagination, or tangible evidence of a creature that has eluded capture for over a century? The answers remain elusive, hidden within the depths of those who have come face to face with the enigma known as the Boggy Creek Monster. As the legend continues to captivate minds and spark the imagination, one thing is certain: the Boggy Creek Monster will forever remain a captivating mystery. Its existence, tantalizingly close, yet just out of reach, leaves us yearning for more. More sightings, more encounters, and more clues that might unravel the secrets of this otherworldly creature. Until then, the legend of the Boggy Creek Monster will persist, living on in the hearts and minds of those who dare to believe in the extraordinary. the small town of Folk, located in southwest Arkansas, a creature known as the Folk Monster has been a topic of discussion since the early 1970s. The town gained notoriety after a resident reported seeing this mysterious creature, sparking widespread interest and media attention. The legend of the Folk Monster was further perpetuated by the release of the 1973 movie, The Legend of Boggy Creek, which portrayed the creature's encounters. Since the 1800s, sightings of a Bigfoot-like creature in and around the area have been consistently reported, solidifying its place in local folklore. In the depths of Boggy Creek, there lies a stretch of land that holds a particular mystery. This land, which has been owned by the same family for generations, is shrouded in whispers of strange happenings. The family unwittingly stumbled upon a sinister secret that would forever haunt their dreams. It was a moonless night in 1906 when they ventured into the desolate wilderness in search of alligator slides. The air was thick with a sense of unease, and their hearts raced as they traversed the treacherous terrain. As their eyes adjusted to the dim light, their search took a horrifying turn. Amongst the mud and marsh, they discovered not one, but two sets of humanoid tracks that whispered of a nightmarish presence. One set belonged to a creature so small, its intentions remained enigmatic. But it was the second set, ominously larger, that sent shivers down their spines. The tracks were an aberration, a perversion of all that was known. Rather than the expected three-toed marks of local wildlife, the ground bore witness to five-toed, giant human-like footprints, each imprint imbued with an inexplicable malevolence. Panic seized the family as they realized the magnitude of their discovery. News spread like wildfire, igniting fear in the hearts of the nearby community. Whispers echoed through the village, each tale more horrifying than the last. Some believed the tracks belonged to a monstrous creature, lurking in the shadows, waiting to claim its next victim. Others feared that it was a harbinger of doom, a sign of some otherworldly entity descending upon their peaceful existence. The owner of the property was awoken from his slumber by the cries of distress that filled the night air. Sensing the urgency, he raced to the scene, an unrelenting knot forming in the pit of his stomach, as he beheld a massive shadow darting through the trees. His mind raced to comprehend the implications. What kind of malevolent force had set foot in their midst? Bewilderment danced across his face, etching lines of fear upon his brow. The weight of the unknown pressed heavily upon his spirit, leaving him filled with a sense of unease. He knew that the discovery of these mysterious tracks and what he saw that night would forever change the perception of their quaint community, shattering their illusion of safety and forcing them to confront the very real possibility that an enigmatic evil lurked among them. As he gazed into the abyss of Boggy Creek, the once familiar landscape now held an air of foreboding. The owner, haunted by the experience, could not shake the feeling that something sinister was on the rise, its malevolent presence lurking just out of sight. In the depths of his heart, he knew that the peace they had once enjoyed was forever shattered, replaced by a palpable fear that gripped the very core of their existence. One particularly chilling encounter occurred in 1971, when the Ford family had just moved into their new home. It was a peaceful Saturday night when Elizabeth Ford, still groggy from sleep, was awakened by a noise at the window. Startled, she noticed the curtains moving and saw a hairy hand sticking through the window. Initially mistaking it for a bear's paw, she soon realized that it was something much more sinister. As her eyes adjusted to the darkness, Elizabeth saw the creature's fiery red eyes staring back at her. Its heavy breathing filled the night air, sending chills down her spine. Elizabeth's husband, Bobby, and his brother, Don, rushed outside and fired several shots at the creature, causing it to retreat momentarily. Believing they had wounded the creature, the men searched for it, but found no signs of its presence. Confused, they returned to the house, only to hear the screams of the women inside. Bobby was suddenly grabbed by a hairy arm, engaged in a struggle with the creature. Fortunately, he managed to break free and escape, running back into the safety of the house. The local constable, Ernest Walraven, arrived soon after and conducted an extensive search of the surrounding area. However, he found no trace of the creature. As the family inspected their property the next morning, they discovered large, five-toed tracks, scratch marks on the porch, and damage to the windows. News of the incident spread quickly, capturing the attention of the public and media. The Ford family's encounter inspired the legendary film called The Legend of Boggy Creek in 1973, drawing further interest to the creature lurking in the woods. The sightings subsided in the following years, but periodically resurfaced, keeping the legend alive. It was the year 1986. A dense air of mystery hung over Boggy Creek, and it was during this time that the patriarch of a long-standing family encountered something so chilling that it would forever haunt his dreams. On an otherwise unassuming day, the owner of the property found himself in the company of a curious visitor. They embarked on an excursion, driving along a rugged path that led deep into the heart of the woods. As they neared a gate, an eerie stillness enveloped the air, warning of the unknown that awaited them. Stepping out of the vehicle to open the gate, the owner never anticipated the wild spectacle that would unfold before their very eyes. From the murky depths of the nearby creek emerged a figure so extraordinary, it defied the realm of human understanding. Covered in a thick coat of hair, the entity stood upright, towering from a distance of around 70 yards. Its presence was both mesmerizing and unnerving, sending shivers down their spines. Neither the owner nor the guest could comprehend what they were witnessing. This was private property, a sanctuary that lay hidden from prying eyes. Who or what could dare to venture into these sacred grounds? As the seconds ticked by, the creature, as if sensing their gaze, swiftly scurried back towards the safety of the creek, vanishing from sight in the blink of an eye. The visitor, stunned by the surreal encounter, demanded an explanation. They yearned to grasp the true nature of this enigma that had unfolded right before them. Seeking solace and understanding, they turned to the owner, hoping for some rational explanation. But how could one possibly make sense of the unfathomable? The owner, shaken to their core, struggled to find the right words. Faced with the inexplicable, they simply shrugged and referred to the creature as the Fook Monster, a moniker bestowed upon the unknown entity that had been whispered about in hushed tones by the locals. That encounter forever etched itself into the annals of their memories, leaving both the owner and the visitor with more questions than answers. Such a tantalizing taste of the bizarre would ignite a curiosity that could never be extinguished. And as the sun set on that fateful day, the enigma of Boggy Creek only grew deeper, leaving all who dared to explore its depths struggling to unravel its mysteries. In 1994, as two intrepid adventurers, Sarah and David, delved into the heart of Boggy Creek, they quickly realized that they had entered into a realm where danger lurked at every turn. The very air seemed thick with foreboding, and the dense foliage threatened to enclose them in its embrace. They had entered a treacherous world where survival was not guaranteed. The first hint of danger came in the form of a slithering serpent, its venomous fangs glinting beneath the dappled sunlight. Sarah's heart skipped a beat as she caught sight of the sleek body and mesmerizing eyes of a deadly cottonmouth snake. The creature coiled itself in fierce anticipation, ready to strike at a moment's notice. David, ever the vigilant explorer, instinctively stepped back, his senses heightened. He knew that one wrong move could have dire consequences. The pair decided to steer clear of the venomous serpent, taking a cautious detour to avoid any unnecessary encounters. As they continued their foray into the unknown, they stumbled upon a chilling sight. Lazily perched on half-submerged logs, giant alligators seemed to taunt the adventurers with their eerie stillness. The creatures, their eyes fixed on the horizon, appeared as gatekeepers to a realm hidden beneath the waters. Cautiously, they continued on, trying not to disturb their reptilian reverie. It was a delicate dance, a silent negotiation between human and beast, as they respected the wild inhabitants of Boggy Creek. They remained keenly aware that survival hinged on their ability to navigate through this hostile territory unscathed. With each step they took, Sarah and David were reminded of the unpredictable nature of this environment. The whispering wind seemed to carry the echoes of unseen dangers lurking just beyond their field of vision. Every rustle of leaves, every sudden splash in the water, sent their hearts racing with a mixture of fear and excitement. But it was amidst this untamed backdrop that their true encounter awaited them. As dusk blanketed the land in an ethereal glow, Sarah spotted a figure emerging from the shadows. Covered in matted fur, the creature stood stooped, its frame powerful, yet evoking an air of deep mystery. It was the Boggy Creek Monster, the enigmatic being that had bewitched the imaginations of countless individuals throughout the years. Sarah and David held their breath, captivated by the sight before them. The creature seemed to meld with the darkness, its glowing eyes peering directly into their souls, an unmistakable hate for human beings etched into its expression. In that moment of terrifying connection, the adventurers understood that they were witness to something extraordinary, something that defied rational explanation. As the creature stepped back, disappearing into the murky depths of Boggy Creek, Sarah and David exchanged glances filled with wonder and awe. In the early 1970s, during the peak of sightings in the area, a family had a spine-chilling encounter that remains etched in their memory. They had been on the boat ramp at Mercer Bayou, preparing their boat for a day of recreation when an eerie howl echoed through the woods. It was a peculiar sound, unlike anything they had heard before. Curiosity piqued, the mother, who had some Native American heritage, attempted to communicate with the source of the howl. To her surprise, the creature responded in kind, and a strange interaction ensued. The family cautiously approached the area, where they discovered what seemed to be an abandoned trailer nearby, untouched since its arrival. Suddenly, the creature emerged from the woods, standing upright and covered in hair. Towering at around 6 or 7 feet tall, it was a sight that defied all logical explanation. As fear gripped their hearts, a group of men wielding shotguns burst out of the trailer, seemingly in search of the same creature. The creature retreated at the sight of the men, leaving the family in a state of profound shock and awe of what they just witnessed. Another man, Tom Zorn, who recounts his first encounter with the monster during the 1950s. Late one night, while Zorn and his mother were at home, they heard heavy footsteps approaching their house. As the sound drew closer, Zorn cautiously aimed his pistol at the window, preparing for the unknown. Suddenly, a massive foot struck against the window, prompting Zorn to fire 3 rounds. However, the moment the shots rang out, an eerie silence descended outside. There was no evidence of the creature, no breathing or running, just stillness, as if the monster had vanished into thin air. Another witness, William Lunsford, shares his teenage experience with the Boggy Creek Monster. As Lunsford walked along a road, he spotted a strange figure squatting down, partially obscured by a tree limb. In fear, he watched as the creature rose to its feet, revealing eyes as black as coal. Lunsford felt a profound sense of intrusion, as if the monster could read his thoughts. The creature teetered for a moment before eventually walking away. From this encounter, Lunsford discovers a peculiar way to engage with the monster, mimicking the sound of rocks clapping together. In the midst of this cryptid tale lies a man who has become intimately familiar with the legend. Mark, the current owner of a portion of the land, has been a resident of the area since 1983. He took it upon himself to enhance the experience for visitors by creating the Monster Mart and collecting artifacts that would captivate and intrigue visitors and enthusiasts. Mark's intention was not to exploit the myth, but to provide an immersive and fulfilling experience for those who dared to venture into the unknown. Through his efforts, he hoped to erase the doubts and skepticism surrounding the legend and inspire a sense of wonder and adventure in those who visited his establishment. The perception of the Boggy Creek Monster has undergone a transformation over the years. What was once met with ridicule and skepticism has now become a subject of intrigue and curiosity. Lyle, a renowned author, played a significant role in reshaping the narrative. Through his fair and objective recounting of the stories, he shed light on the experiences of those who had encountered the creature, opening the minds of the community. People began to embrace their own experiences and share their stories, no longer fearing ridicule. The previously hesitant community now stands more united, realizing that the unexplained phenomena in their midst are worthy of consideration and respect. More individuals have come forward, recounting sightings and encounters that have shaped their lives. Some mainstream scientists suggest that many Bigfoot sightings, including the Boggy Creek Monster, can be attributed to mistaken identity, particularly with black bears. The dense foliage and poor lighting conditions make it easy for observers to misinterpret what they see. However, believers in the creature refute these explanations and see these people as mere career-driven skeptics, convinced that it is a genuine flesh-and-blood cryptid. The Boggy Creek legend has been woven into the very fabric of the land. It has intrigued and confounded generations with its elusive nature. The mere mention of its name evokes a sense of wonder and unease among the locals. Over the course of a century, sightings of this creature have multiplied, capturing the attention of believers and skeptics alike. From the earliest days in 1906, when two sets of distinct tracks were discovered, to the modern era, where eyewitness accounts continue to surface, the Boggy Creek Monster has left an indelible mark on the landscape of mystery. What sets this cryptid apart is the sheer variety of names it has been given throughout its history. From its early days as the Jonesville Monster, to its later monikers of the Foul Monster, and more ultimately the Boggy Creek Monster, this creature has undergone transformation and evolution in the imaginations of those who dare to ponder its existence. The tales surrounding the Boggy Creek Monster have become part of the local lore, passed down through generations. Each story carries with it a sense of excitement and apprehension, captivating listeners with its blend of the supernatural and the unknown. These accounts, like whispers in the wind, continue to shape the perception of the monster, adding layers of complexity to an already enigmatic tale. It is these accumulated sightings and eerie encounters that have solidified the creature's presence in the collective consciousness of the community. Locals who have ventured into the depths of the woods have walked away with stories that both mystify and terrify. The strange phenomena they have witnessed serve as a chilling reminder that there are forces at work in Boggy Creek that defy explanation. The legend has inspired countless books, documentaries, and even a highly influential movie. In the wake of its release, more individuals have come forward, emboldened to share their own encounters with the Boggy Creek Monster. These accounts, wrapped in a cloak of mystery, leave audiences yearning for more. But what is the truth behind these stories? Are they mere figments of the imagination, or tangible evidence of a creature that has eluded capture for over a century? The answers remain elusive, hidden within the depths of those who have come face to face with the enigma known as the Boggy Creek Monster. As the legend continues to captivate minds and spark the imagination, one thing is certain: the Boggy Creek Monster will forever remain a captivating mystery. Its existence, tantalizingly close, yet just out of reach, leaves us yearning for more. More sightings, more encounters, and more clues that might unravel the secrets of this otherworldly creature. Until then, the legend of the Boggy Creek Monster will persist, living on in the hearts and minds of those who dare to believe in the extraordinary.